When did this nightmare begin? A tale of a betrayed hero's resurrection, born from the ashes of treachery. As the phantom pain gnawed at his soul, he bitterly recalled the ultimate weak to OP betrayal. How did I become so pathetic, so filled with rage and hatred? Now it's time for some divine power revenge. It all started with her. Hey Klein, she'd whispered, her voice like poison. When you return after defeating the Black Dragon. He froze on the spot. Let's get married. The memory was a blur, but his eyes hardened with a mix of rage and disbelief. Was this where it began? His mind flashed back to the battle, sweat pouring down his face as he fought the monster mid-air. With a single lightning-fast slash, Klein permanently logged the boss out of existence. The surrounding knights erupted in cheers, going wild like he was some kind of rock star. Holy shit, we actually won. Long live Sir Klein. That was one hell of a fight. He remembered standing there, hailed as the world's savior, but even then, his gut churned with a strange unease. Or maybe it started here. He pictured the lavish royal banquet, him stuffing his face, while the nobles gossiped excitedly. Did you hear? No one's beaten that Black Dragon in 100 years. Damn, this kid Klein has a terrifyingly bright future. He's a total badass. Then, out of nowhere, Queen Xia Ji appeared, holding a golden chalice. Her words were sickeningly sweet, as if she was doing him a huge favor. You have won, my brilliant knight. This wine is for you. Riding the high of his victory, he didn't even notice the wicked scheming in her eyes, and was naive enough to thank her. I always remembered your words of encouragement, my queen. They're what gave me the strength to defeat the Black Dragon. Her eyes were locked on him, her voice dripping with honey, but laced with pure venom. That's right, and I won't forget my promise. Drink this, and all your dreams will come true. Without a single shred of doubt, he took the chalice and downed it in one clean gulp. The second, the wine hit his stomach, searing pain ripped through him. He started coughing up blood like some tragic hero in a cheap soap opera. Wait, what is this? The more he convulsed in agony, the more Queen Xia Ji delighted in the masterpiece she had created. On cue, an old count burst in, stunning the entire hall. Klein incited the knight's order to treason. He is now under arrest. While everyone stood frozen in fear, the knights under his command still screamed to defend their captain. Wait, Captain Klein would never do that. But the queen simply raised her precious sword. Her explosive aura paralyzed the entire room. She stood and shouted, twisting the truth and turning black to white right before their very eyes. Klein has been arrested for treason. Anyone who dares to speak up for him now will be executed for treason as well. The pain racked his body on schedule, and Klein choked as tears of pure agony and despair streamed down his face. This was a new level of hell. That knight from before stood completely frozen, his jaw on the floor. The evil script was playing out perfectly without a single hitch. The old count just cackled, his face filled with the smug satisfaction of a petty villain. Klein remembered the feeling of utter helplessness. Klein choked back a tearless sob. So, this is how it ends. He started to laugh, a raw, broken sound that threatened to tear his throat apart. He screamed, going mad amidst the unrelenting flames. Ha ha ha. Treason? Me? A traitor? Ha ha ha. Then the crowd, those brainless sheep, began throwing rotten food at the very man who had just finished saving their miserable lives. Damn traitor, go to hell. That's what you get for being arrogant. Thought you were so special being a knight, huh? Well, look at you now. You idiots. The sight made Klein's blood boil. He let out a final defiant laugh, cursing every last one of them. This goddamn piece of shit world. Before he could finish, he collapsed as the flames rushed in to devour his innocent body. Damn it all. After he was turned to ash, only a half-burnt wooden post remained in the snow. A few wisps of smoke curled into the air, carrying the echo of his last thought. In the end, it was all for nothing. Then, out of nowhere, a woman appeared casually, strolling through the carnage as if it were a deserted night market. Syra glanced at the ruined scene, her voice laced with a strange mix of pity and amusement. How pathetic. His whole life, he was enchanted by a complete fantasy. She waved her hand and a magic circle materialized faster than you can type a password. But no matter. The age of mana is about to begin. She sensed the lingering traces of his soul, and a thrill of excitement shot through her. I'll give you a chance to choose again. The circle expanded in seconds, floating majestically above the charred post. It blazed like a concert spotlight, the mana artifact, the wheel of fate. It began to pull every scattered fragment of his soul back towards it, reassembling them into a brand new Klein. The moment he was reborn, before he could even blink, he was already muttering his final words. I will destroy this world. Hearing that and seeing the fire burning in his eyes, even Syra was surprised. This is a story of a betrayed hero's resurrection, where a man left for dead gets a second chance. Fueled by divine power and a thirst for revenge, He's on a mission to make his old enemies pay. But after 3 years, this weak to OP hero finds payback. If a little boring. After all that betrayal, where's an idiot who can give him a little fun? Just as he's complaining about life, his trouble radar goes off instantly. Lion springs into action without a second thought. Heh, looks like a dumbass finally showed up. Today's gonna be fun after all. Despite being weighed down by a ton of metal, he leaps down singing, you morons, don't you run, wait for me to get there." The soldiers under Zhanmu's command were causing a massive uproar, throwing the entire market into chaos. "The night order is here. Anyone with precious weapons, sharp knives, or swords, hand them over to me. Hurry up, hurry up." The whole area was in a panic as people scrambled to turn in their weapons, ignoring Anne hiding at the end of the alley. "Quick, give it to the knights. We have no choice. We have to hand it over. Our lives are more important." But the guard's eyes scanned the crowd and locked right onto a little girl. "Hey, little sister, that weapon in your hand looks pretty good." Though she was trembling from the cold aura coming off Zhanmu, Anne managed to plead with him. "No, Captain of the Knights, please spare me. This is just a memento from my mother. It's not worth anything." The guard just aimed his sword at her, threatening her relentlessly. "Cut the crap. This is an order from the city lord. Are you handing it over or not?" But the little girl just hugged the item tighter, refusing. Such an ugly face and so shameless too. He raised his sword and spat out a cold line like some cheap villain. "In that case, you can just die." The little girl could only cover her head and sob, her lips trembling too much to speak. "Is this really how I'm going to die today?" Suddenly, something flew through the air and smacked Zhanmu's hand, sending his sword clattering to the ground. He was so pissed he started screaming. He was desperate to salvage his bruised ego. Who was that? From a nearby roof, Lion dangled his legs and let out a taunt. "Heh, that would be your daddy." The moment they saw him, the crowd went wild with relief, screaming their lungs out. "Oh my god, it's Bach, the vigilante who teaches these bastard knights a lesson. He's here, we're saved." Seeing a stranger, the guard pointed and roared to vent his anger. "You damn Bach, you had a choice to stay away, but today you fell into my hands. Don't blame me for being ruthless." Our hero didn't even flinch, just shot back with a sarcastic taunt. "Ooh, I'm so scared. Really, I'm shaking in my boots." Zhanmu, furious, whipped around and yelled at his men. "Get him!" The whole squad immediately charged. They swarmed in, trying to surround Lian so he couldn't escape. This was going to be an all-out brawl, no doubt about it. But with just one move, the soldiers couldn't handle it, collapsing like a line of dominoes. Seeing things were going south fast, the captain didn't waste another second, drawing his sword and lunging in for a big play. "You damn Bach, this time, I absolutely won't let you get away." Faced with a reckless fool, Lion didn't even bother talking. He channeled energy into his palm and unleashed a powerful strike. Grabbing that presumptuous arm, he let out a roar that sent a shiver down Zhanmu's spine. "So, you guys are causing chaos in the city and confiscating sharp weapons, all for this fragment of a demonic artifact?" Blocked by someone half his size, the captain growled and raised his fist, intending to finish him off quickly. "Damn it, I can't lose." He barely moved an inch before our hero nailed him right where it counts, causing him to double over with a silent groan. "How's that feel? Good, huh?" Kneeling on the ground, the captain clutched what was once his pride and joy, his face twisted as he let out a few whimpers. Lion patted his head. He spoke slowly, in the same tone an adult uses to scold a child. "Little boy, leave everything behind, including that crappy armor on your back. Otherwise, I'll crush your nuts, and you can forget about being a man for the rest of your life." Seeing the tables turn, the soldiers all fled without looking back, leaving their armor scattered all over the place. "Whoa, holy crap, this guy is terrifying. How are we supposed to beat him? We really ran into some bad luck today." Anne stood behind them, her heart pounding with excitement. She was endlessly grateful to the hero before her. "Bach, thank you." He glanced back at her, his expression not bothering to hide his annoyance. "Don't thank me. I'm no saint. I'm only playing the vigilante because it's fun." In the middle of the crowded street, he spoke like a true anti-hero, winning over the crowd. "Hey, everyone, today, everything these guys left behind, it all belongs to you now. Do whatever you want with it. Don't be shy." The feeling of relief washed over the crowd, and they erupted in joyous cheers. Bach, Bach, Bach. But while everyone was celebrating, the old count glared at the newly emerged superstar with boundless hatred. "What? Bach, you just wait." In the dead of night, a bright full moon hung high in the sky, illuminating everything. Lion examined the fragment in his hand. He frowned and sighed. "This is so boring." Suddenly, a flash of light appeared behind him. A clear voice followed. Even after becoming a vigilante, you receive the adoration of countless citizens every day. Xia smiled sarcastically. And you're still bored? His ears burning from this nonsense. He casually retorted, you understand what? Like I give a damn if the people worship me. I do this, 'cause it's fun. But that sassy mouth of hers wasn't about to let him go. She continued her elegant hobby of poking the bear. That's right. How could the world's strongest knight, a living legend, possibly care about such insignificant commoners? Suddenly, the dagger with the fragment was thrown down, embedding itself deep in the roof tiles. This isn't funny. Lien was pissed, questioning her in a cold voice. Are you mocking me? She reined in the venom in her words, humbly apologizing. I wouldn't dare. The former Night King isn't someone I'd dare to joke with. But her expression was as punchable as ever. Just when I thought we were about to witness the fight of the century, he suddenly went into full-on sad boy mode. No, of course you can laugh at me. After all, what the hell am I now? He looked up at the bright moon, then lowered his head, thinking of his homeland. But his tone held no lingering attachment. The Night King of old is dead, for the despicable crime of treason. Damn it all. Xia chuckled, stepping closer and patting his head to comfort him like a child. But you're still alive. As long as you're alive, there's still a chance, right? Hearing this, Lien couldn't help but voice the question he'd been holding back for so long. Hey, my Xia, why the hell did you save me? What's your real motive? She looked down, as if to hide the strange emotion in her eyes, showing only a harmless smile. Why must there be a motive? Watching someone suffer and struggle against their own fate, isn't that entertaining enough? Not getting the answer he wanted, he didn't feel like digging deeper and decided to just drop it. Whatever. Maybe this really is my destiny. She suddenly knelt and hugged Lien from behind, whispering intimately, It's okay, don't worry. No matter what you want to do from now on, I will always be by your side. Meanwhile, in Linfeng City, at Count Eisen's mansion, the guy named John Mu ran back to snitch to his superior after being defeated. Lord Eisen, it's not that I didn't try. It's just that guy Bai is too damn strong. We're simply no match for him. He got so angry he hurled the wine glass in his hand, snapping at the man. Bullshit. There was a whole mob of you, and you couldn't even handle one measly vigilante? What the hell am I keeping you around for? Knowing his boss was furious, the man trembled, begging for his life. My lord, spare me. Eisen said nothing, and slowly stood up. For some reason, the seductive beauty beside him burst into laughter. He looked down his nose at his defeated subordinate, every muscle in his face oozing with contempt. Jean-Mu, I gave you your chance, yet you disappoint me every single time. This time, not only did you fail to seize the treasure, but you also lost the fragment of the purple fire blade. Tell me, what should I do with you? The man's face went pale with fear as he desperately begged. Please, my lord, give this humble servant one more chance. This time, I'll definitely capture Bai. I absolutely will not let him get away. Eisen continued to scold him in a cold voice. No, Jean-Mu, I've given you more than enough chances. But this time, I am truly disappointed in a useless piece of trash like you. The kneeling man was left with no excuses, only able to cry out his master's name in despair. He suddenly beckoned two armored warriors over. Eisen pointed his sword and gave his orders. Cayenne, Bailey, I want you to set a trap and capture that bastard named Bai alive. On this mission, I will not tolerate failure. They knelt on one knee, bowing their heads to accept the command. Yes, Lord Count. Finally, he turned his blade toward Jean-Mu, deciding to spare his pathetic life for now. As for you, you're no longer a knight captain. From now on, you're just a nameless soldier. You will cooperate with them on this mission. Got it? Seeing the sharp blade pointed at him, he trembled like a leaf, gritting his teeth as he accepted the punishment. Yes, sir. Another beautiful sunny day dawned on the peaceful city. On a towering wall, two idle figures sat watching the view. Xia suddenly grew curious about her companion's habit. You always like sitting up high, don't you? Lien nodded, explaining calmly. Yeah. Only from up high can I get a clear view of how those scumbags are crushing the people. She just had to bring up serious matters. I have to remind you, in the prophecy of the Wheel of Fate, I saw the fragments of the demonic weapon, the purple fire blade, rejoining. A massive fire will erupt and burn all of Linfeng City to the ground. He glanced at her, confused. So, what's that got to do with me? You don't actually think I'm playing hero for the sake of justice, do you? I'm not that stupid. Hearing this, she smiled, satisfied. Good. Suddenly, loud noises, completely out of place, echoed through the bustling streets below. Lien immediately shot to his feet, his voice grim. Looks like they're causing trouble again. These stubborn bastards. They're just begging for me to teach them a lesson. Xia sensed something was off. Wrong move. You'd think that would have been a warning. After getting their asses handed to them yesterday, they're back for more this morning? They must have a different plan this time. Oh please, this stuff is just small fry. You didn't even bother to hear the whole story before you took off running. Who gives a damn about their plan? Just smash these bastards and be done with it. Elsewhere in the city, Kai An is wildly unleashing his knight's power, using the Overlord's fist to destroy everything in his path. The surrounding citizens are terrified, their cries of despair echoing endlessly. Oh my god, what's wrong with this guy? Has he gone insane? Ah, my home, the home I worked so hard to build. You son of a bitch. How can this bastard be so damn despicable? Even though Chiam has been stripped of his rank, he still acts as arrogant as ever, shouting at the top of his lungs, by order of the city lord, hand over all the valuables in your house, or you'll be punished by the Iron Fist. It'll be too late for regrets then. The soldiers with him chime in, yelling, hand over the money. That's right, pay up now. Spotting an old man who rubs him the wrong way, he kicks him to the ground and screams, pay up, you worthless old bastard. The surrounding citizens, terrified of their status as knights, could only curse them under their breath to vent their anger. My god, these guys are getting more insane by the day. They just got their asses kicked by Bach, and yet they're back again? Aren't they afraid someone will stand up for justice? Bach, please, come, save us. He viciously stomps on the old man's head, grinding his face into the filthy ground. Not wanting to make a big scene, Chiam pulls his foot back. Seeing a chance to live, the old man musters his strength for one last plea. Ah, please, spare my life. Chiam looks down at the man trembling beneath his feet, but his brow furrows. He felt a deep resentment. Son of a bitch, why do I have to keep doing this filthy work? Suddenly, the surrounding crowd erupts in joyous cheers. Bach is here. Bach has arrived. Hearing this, Chiam barely has time to think. No way. Before a powerful elbow smashes his face out of shape. The blow sends Chiam flying, forcing out the rest of his unfinished thought. That fast? Lie on, with his powerful and majestic physique, strides confidently through the cheering crowd. Bach is here. Bach is here. He's finally here. Oh my god, he's finally here. Kyan finally decides to show himself, blocking a small alleyway to probe the hero. So you're the one they call Bach, right? With his God-given smart mouth, our hero starts the trash talk. Doesn't matter. I'm your daddy. This instantly infuriates him. A crazed look flashes in his eyes as he swings his fist straight at his opponent. If you're going to be that arrogant, then you can just die right here. But surprise, the punch that seemed so powerful was stopped by a single one of Lion's index fingers. He even scoffs at his opponent. Heh. Kyan's eyes go wide, unable to believe what he's seeing. This is impossible. That was literally my strongest punch. But it wasn't over yet. The fight was just now reaching its climax. Kai unsmugly reminds him, but you still fell for it. As two hands suddenly shot up from the ground, Lian couldn't help but show a little excitement. Well now, this is getting interesting. Certain that everything was going according to plan, he calls his men to swarm him. You're not getting away this time. Brothers, get him. The small fry soldiers quickly rush in to contribute. However, it seems he celebrated a little too soon, because our hero still had plenty of tricks up his sleeve. Too bad for you guys, you picked the wrong opponent. Seeing this bright light, Kyan is stunned, his eyes fixated on it. In an instant, a punch comes down, cracking the very earth beneath them. Caught off guard, Kyan is sent flying straight into a wall. A wave of pain hits him in an instant. But his brain could still process what just happened. How could he use my times knight's power? Lion wasn't about to let him off, walking over and grabbing his mohawk to mock him. What's the matter? Surprised? Your knight's power. Not only can I use it, I can use it even better than you. Kai-an, trying to suppress the pain, stammers, Who the hell are you? From the very beginning, our hero had no intention of revealing his identity, so he immediately dodges the question. Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is what your superior is planning. You guys are pillaging the entire city. What the hell is your objective? Not one to give up easily? Kai-an refuses to say a word, despite the pressure. I will never tell you. The Count took me in and raised me. I will never betray him. Hearing this, our hero takes off his mask, his voice suddenly dropping low like the scraping of a knife. Is that so? In that case, I'll show you exactly what kind of existence I am. His piercing glare bores into his opponent's soul as he delivers a cold threat. Compared to your boss, I'm the real demon. When he finally sees this face, something seems to click in Kai-an's mind. But before he can finish, Lion cuts him off. Who I am doesn't matter. All you need to know is, if you don't tell the truth, I will kill you, kill your mother, and kill your entire family. And finally, I will tear you to pieces, bit by bit, and feed you to the stray dogs on the street. I always keep my word." The moment he heard that, when I threatened his family, he finally broke and spilled his guts. He said, "My superior is Count Sam. He was the one who ordered us to collect the demon weapon fragments in the city to offer to the city lord." That familiar phrase took him by surprise. Demon weapon? Then he pulled a fragment from his pocket and asked, "Is this it?" The man answered immediately, not daring to lie. "Yes, that's it. This is a fragment of the purple fire blade." Still not convinced, he pressed further. "Are there any other objectives?" Kai-an shook his head frantically. "No, absolutely nothing else." Having gotten what he wanted, Lai-an had no reason to keep him. He let him live. "All right, take your men and get the hell out of my sight. If I ever catch you doing this kind of shit again, I will personally slaughter your entire family. I swear it." After getting his ass handed to him like that, he wouldn't dare try anything. The moment he was free, he scrambled away. "Understood. I absolutely won't do it again." He looked up at the dark clouds, slowly swallowing the light, a terrible premonition churning in his gut. Looks like this seemingly peaceful city is about to descend into chaos. Outside Lamfong City, whispers and gossip filled the air. "Have you guys heard? Apparently, a god of slaughter has appeared in the city. They say his name is Bai something, and he has a thing for stripping the pants off high-ranking nobles." Lani lowered her head, listening to the murmurs around her. "Of course, the guy calls himself a vigilante, but his methods are enough to make your skin crawl. Yeah, I even heard he once dumped crap all over a count's head. They say the whole scene was a total shit show." She tightened her cloak, tilting her head up slightly with a knowing smile. Her eyes lit up, reflecting her excitement for their upcoming meeting. "Brother Bai, my dear, don't be in such a rush. I'm on my way to join your ranks." As for the protagonist of our story, Lion was swaggering down the street, searching for a new target. The moment he spotted his prey, his eyes crinkled into a smile, the gears already turning in his head. Well, if it isn't Count Elam, maybe I'll make him today's clown." But before he could make a move, a voice suddenly cut in. "Brother Bai, wait up." He grunted softly and turned around. Lan Yi came flying out of the sky with an excited greeting. "Brother Bai, I finally found you." Lion was so startled he couldn't help but curse. Holy shit, what the hell is this situation? It all happened in a flash, as the two of them created an explosive collision in the middle of the street, accompanied by a pained cry. She landed snugly in his arms, taking the chance to cop a feel. "Ah, Brother Bai, you're so soft. I love it." Meanwhile, the poor victim weakly complained, "That hurts." Once he came to his senses, he completely lost it. "Damn it. Who the hell are you, harassing an innocent guy in broad daylight like this?" She quickly stood up and introduced herself dramatically. Hey, you don't know me, do you? I am the genius female knight. My name is Lan Yi. I heard Brother Bai was helping people, so I came all this way to lend a hand." Lion's brow furrowed tightly. His voice was laced with impatience. "Sorry, I don't need any help. Now, please get lost." Lan Yi ignored his annoyance completely. She shamelessly promoted herself. "Are you sure you don't need help? Just look at me. I came all this way to find you. Can you really be so cruel as to turn me away? I'm so adorable too." Annoyed, he flicked the clingy pest off with one hand, adding a blunt rejection, "Get off." She immediately shrieked in fear. Then, while dusting off his hands, he cursed under his breath. "For fuck's sake, why did I have to run into a weirdo like this?" But Lan Yi quickly returned, hugging his leg, leaving him even more stunned. "Holy shit, how are you back already?" She pleaded with wide, sparkling eyes. "Brother Bai, I want to be a vigilante with you. I want to dump crap on those bastards' heads too." Lian, desperate to shake her off, stomped his foot. "Hey, what kind of nonsense are you spouting in front of all these people?" She clung on stubbornly, ignoring the pointing fingers of the crowd. "I just want to be a vigilante with Brother Bai." A vigilante. Out of options, he decided to stall for time. "Wait a second, come over here." Lan Yi was still clinging on for dear life. "Just say yes, already." Lion dragged this human octopus into a small alley to confront her. "Hey, what the hell do you really want?" She suddenly went quiet and started rummaging through her clothes, then held out a tiny vial, like a precious offering. "This is a stink bomb I recently developed. Just shatter it, and the gas inside is enough to make someone stink for 3 whole days and nights. They won't even be able to eat. It's even more disgusting than actual crap. I want to use it with you, Brother Bai." Even through his mask, Lian instinctively covered his mouth. "Holy hell, your methods are even more hardcore than mine." Lan Yi put her hands on her hips, boasting proudly. "Of course, to deal with evil scum, you have to use the most wicked methods. This stink bomb will definitely make them remember this for the rest of their lives. They'll never forget it." He leaned in, showing interest. You know, that actually sounds pretty interesting. Without hesitation, Lai An slung an arm around his new ally. Well, little sis, you've got a deal. From now on, you're with me. I'll let you fully experience the feeling, no, the joy of a vigilante punishing the wicked. She threw her fist in the air excitedly, cheering, "Yay, brother, bye. My father's taken me in. Now hold still while we talk strategy. Listen up, we're about to go take care of Count Eisen. We'll make our move right after. Pretty exciting, huh?" Lar walks in perfect sync with her idol, humming along eagerly. "Whoa, that sounds badass. Let's do it." Meanwhile, inside the Count's magnificent mansion, panicked shouts echo. "Hurry up, all of you, grab everything valuable and get out, now." Eisen frantically runs his hands through his hair, his panic on full display. "Damn it, I'm screwed this time. We didn't catch Bai Shi, and the Fireblade fragment is gone, too. City Lord Koa An will never forgive me. He'll absolutely never forgive me." Veins bulged on his forehead as he ground his teeth in fury. "This is all your fault," he raged, spewing insults at the cowering men before him. "It's all because of you, useless bastards. You couldn't even catch one measly rogue knight. Are you all completely worthless?" In the middle of the chaos, another soldier burst in with an urgent report, reporting, "Lord Eisen, we have a huge problem. Someone has stormed our estate." The Count's eyes widened in disbelief. "Who? What idiot would dare to charge into my manor?" Despite being pale with fear, the soldier managed to explain the situation. "It's a very young female knight, but her tactics are disgusting. She's throwing crap at us. The stench is so bad, my men are literally passing out." His authority challenged again and again. Eisen exploded with rage. Who the hell would be so insolent? Just as the words left his mouth, a second intruder smashed through the glass window and charged in. Startled by the brazen act, he yelled, "And who the hell are you?" Lian shot him a chillingly sweet look and replied with a smirk, "I'm your daddy." Eisen's face twisted with rage as he drew his weapon. "Damn it, it's you." But before he could even react, Lian blitzed forward, striking first. His ice-cold hand clamped perfectly around the Count's throat. Eisen was choked so hard, all he could manage were meaningless gurgles. Lian leaned in close, his voice dangerously calm. "What's wrong? Thinking of running? Little man?" The Count forced a smile that looked more painful than a sob, and stammered a denial. No?" Lian slammed him against the cracking wall, pressing him. "Did you really think you could get away?" Overwhelmed by Lian's sheer presence, Eisen could only beg. "No, we can. We can negotiate." As they spoke, a squad of fully armed soldiers surrounded them. Lian glanced at them, with contempt for the stalling tactic. "You really think a pathetic little trick like that will work on me?" He raised his voice and yelled, "Lar!" His brand new partner was already on the scene, charging headfirst into the elite soldiers. She calmly sized up her opponents before making a dramatic introduction. "Hey, your beloved young lady has arrived." Lar did a mid-air flip and hurled a familiar, stinky vial. The second it shattered on the ground, its signature, overpowering. Scent filled the air. The soldiers were instantly overwhelmed by the horrific stench, breaking into chaos. "Ah, holy shit, that stinks. What is that smell? It's worse than a sewer. Ugh, I can't take it. Just kill me now." The ones with weaker stomachs immediately started puking their guts out. Meanwhile, Lian wasn't wasting any time. He activated his skill, Knight's Might, Wind's Fury, to pin down Eisen. Lar took the opportunity to step on a fallen victim's back, issuing a warning. Hey, this is for you scumbags who bully innocent people, and this is for all the evil you've done." Ignoring her showboating, Lian pulled out a dagger. "Looks like you're all out of options now. It's time you told me about that demonic artifact, isn't it?" The man was so terrified he started stuttering. "What are you going to do?" The price for his stalling was a swift blade straight through his wrist. Eisen let out a piercing scream of agony. Lian leaned over him, asking again, "Or are you going to wait until I've crippled all of your limbs before you start talking?" The Count collapsed at his feet, finally ready to comply. "Don't, my lord, spare me. I'll talk. But before he could say another word, Lian whipped his head to the side, sensing danger. A shadowy figure had appeared in the window, launching a hidden weapon straight at him. Lian could only watch as the dart slipped past his grasp. Shit. The sharp projectile embedded itself deep in Eisen's chest, and his eyes rolled back into his head. He let out a final scream. As the poison spread, his bloated body began to turn a deathly purple. Lian watched, cursing himself internally. Damn it, I got careless. Instantly switching targets, he ignored the now useless Count and gave chase to the assassin. "You bastard, don't run." But he was a step too late. By the time Lian got outside, he was met with nothing but empty air. Damn it, he got away. When he returned, he found Lar intently studying the corpse. Whoa, he's dead. She crouched beside the body, cupping her face. Wow, he's really dead. So epic. Truly epic. Lian stared down at the blackened body, whispering as if to himself, so after all the chaos you caused for so long, you end up dying such a pathetic death in the end? Of course, his only answer was a dead silence. In a dark, confined room, Koa Ann asked with displeasure, so, that fool Aizen is dead, her? Kneeling, he confirmed in a low voice. Of course. He was hit by my poison. He should be dead. Hearing this, the man flew into a rage. You moron, you couldn't handle one simple thing, and you even lost a fragment in the process. Serves you right. Well then, it looks like we'll have to deal with Bai ourselves, the old man quickly analyzed. We're still missing 2 fragments, and that bastard Bai has one of them. The man narrowed his dark eyes, struggling to contain his fury. That guy must have a death wish, daring to pick a fight with me. Hake bowed even lower, shamelessly sucking up to him. Exactly. Once you dispose of Bai and gather all the fragments of the Blade of Deathfire, my lord, you will completely unleash its divine power. You'll master the demonic weapon and become the most powerful being in the world. At that moment, you will ascend to godhood, and the world will tremble at your feet. Koan savored the flattery, even silently adding a confident thought of his own. Asterisk. And then, I will be the one to end everything. Asterisk. Meanwhile, at the Count's castle, the townspeople were forcing open the heavy gates. With nothing left to stop them, they stormed inside with excited roars. Count Aizen is dead. Loot everything. If you're not fast, it'll all be gone. Give me that. They savagely tore through the man's fortune, fighting tooth and nail. This is mine. There's still more over there. Trist stood next to Leon, watching the chaos. Seeing this, does it make you feel any better? Leon didn't hide his feelings. Kinda. At the very least, watching that bastard finally get what he deserved is pretty damn satisfying. Just then, the cheerful Laura arrived to join the fun, casually finishing off a surviving guard on her way in. She stood on the high wall, stretching contentedly. Whoa, today was a total rush. Seriously, following Big Bro Bai is always the most fun. Leon leaned in with a smirk. Don't you worry, there's plenty more fun where that came from. She eagerly nodded without a second thought. But even amidst the fun, Trist couldn't help but issue a warning. You really stirred the pot with Aizen. I doubt the people backing him are just going to let this slide. Leon shot back with pure confidence. What's there to be scared of? Let him come. You think I'm afraid of them? Bring it on. With blind faith, Laura cheered him on. Yeah, it'll be even better if they come looking for a fight. That just means I'll have more toys to play with. Ha ha ha. She couldn't help but chuckle at the 2 fearless idiots. Hey. This city was about to be plunged into a storm of blood. The next morning, a newsboy was shouting the headlines on the main street. Extra, read all about it. City Lord Koan has officially announced that the vigilante Bai has punished a corrupt official. He served the people by removing the tumor named Aizen from Linfeng City. A truly heroic deed. Laura excitedly sang along with the news. Wow, Big Bro Bai, did you hear that? They're praising you. Leon, however, remained calm, his tone dripping with sarcasm. Oh, they're treating me this well? I'm almost flattered to death. With that, he calmly read the article. City Lord Koan cordially invites the vigilante Bai to a formal meeting in 2 days. She peeked over his shoulder, even more excited than he was. Whoa, Koan wants to treat you to dinner. Is your reputation really that huge now? He coldly tossed the newspaper aside, flatly exposing the scheme. Looks like this is a classic death trap. But hey, a little visit won't hurt. The clueless Laura's eyes lit up. Whoa, does that mean we're going to have fun again? Leon played along, teasing her. That's right, and I guarantee this time will be even more of a blast for you. In another secret location, a wooden door that was always shut had a visitor today. Just beyond it lay a bottomless well. Koan stood before a beautiful woman and sighed. Nasha, it's been 4 years. Are you still as gentle as ever? He was met with the usual silence. Just then, Hake interrupted. Lord Koan, the message has been sent. However, I can't be sure if he'll actually attend the banquet. Koan replied, as if he already held all the cards. Oh, he'll definitely come. A guy with an ego like his will walk right into a trap, even if he knows it's set for him. He toyed with a golden skull, a wicked grin on his face. Of course, as for whether he can leave that place alive, Koan paused, crushing the skull in his hand before finishing. That's no longer his decision to make. The old man couldn't hide his worry. It's just that, according to our intel, that Bai kid seems to be the real deal. I'm afraid our usual tricks won't work on him. The Lord turned his head, his voice oozing confidence. Hake, you underestimate me. Koan slowly retorted. I'm the one who set up this deadly banquet. Did you really think I was just relying on a few simple traps? He stared straight ahead and bellowed. Up here, Wrathflame Lion, let the world witness your power. At his call, a white-furred lion materialized. A majestic, crimson-maned beast appears. Even chained, its aura is explosive. Hawk stammers. This is? Koa, and proudly shows off his creation. That's right. This is the prototype I created from the 6th fragment of the Amethyst Flame entity. When an ordinary Flame Master resonates with the Amethyst Flame entity, the power it unleashes is this terrifying. The very catalyst for a story of ***, weak to OP, betrayal ***. The old man looks at the raging flame lion, his voice filled with genuine awe. Holy shit. Is this the power of the Amethyst Flame? The key to a ***, betrayed hero's resurrection ***. And this is just one fragment. Koan confirms while channeling his power into Lord Sa. Exactly. When I gather all the pieces, I'll have the ***, divine power ***, for my ***, revenge ***, shattering the heavens and earth. That was our dream, wasn't it? His excitement suddenly fades to a lower tone. But sadly, looking at her sleeping face, his heart aches as he confesses the rest of his thoughts. She's gone now. Outside, the city lord's mansion, shocked voices echo through Linfeng City. Oh my god, is Bai really here? The crowd's eyes darted everywhere as they whispered amongst themselves. Is Bai really going to meet with City Lord Koan? He's here! He's here! As shouts of Bai is here rang out, Lai En calmly walked through the crowd, while Lan Yi held a banner and dramatically yelled, Back up! Back up! Big brother Bai, we're here! Make way! Koan, wearing a fake, cheerful smile, spread his arms in welcome. My dear hero, Bai, I've finally been blessed with your presence. I will forever remember your contribution to our Linfeng City. Since he was already here, he didn't mind playing along. Really? Then I'm truly honored to have caught the attention of City Lord Koan. The man didn't hesitate to lay it on thick. Of course, your potential contributions to Linfeng City are something I, the City Lord, will personally carve into my heart. Kwa, Ain added, looking at the prey that had walked right up to him. What are you waiting for? Why not join me in building a brighter future for Linfeng City? The hero lowered his eyes, playing along. Of course. For such a beautiful future, I am more than willing. Satisfied, the man extended his hand in a welcoming gesture. The feast has been prepared. Please, come in. Lani chirped excitedly. Awesome, this is so awesome. Under the flickering candlelight, Koan's polite voice rang out. Mr. Bai, this roasted suckling pig is a specialty of Linfeng City. Sitting across from him, he eagerly offered, You must enjoy it. Lai and immediately shut him down without a second thought. Sorry, I already ate before I came. This delicious roasted suckling pig. I'm afraid I'm not fated to enjoy it. While the host was at a loss for words, Lan Yi jumped in with a knife and fork to save the situation. Then I'll eat it. I want to eat. Failing to achieve his goal, Koan spoke with a hidden meaning. It seems Mr. Bai doesn't trust me, nor the future I've promised. Tired of playing nice, our hero cut straight to the chase. I've already witnessed how you people operate. When your Earl died, I was at the scene. Startled, Kai Lam screamed out. You got a death wish? Koa chuckled lightly and asked the crucial question. If you never trusted me, then why did you come here? Lion arrogantly propped his feet on the table, holding up the amethyst flame fragment and replying nonchalantly. Because I want to know what the hell you need this thing for. Before he could get an answer, a volley of hidden weapons tore through the air from behind him. Despite her foodie soul, Lan Yi casually lifted a plate to block the poison needles. Humph. Don't you dare touch my big brother Bai. Without even blinking, Lion directly questioned him. So, you're done pretending? Koa, and also felt it was time to be direct. Since you're so arrogant, don't blame me for what comes next. Kai Lu understood and shouted, Get him! He aggressively leaped forward, yelling, Kill him, while our hero remained completely unfazed. You see, that's why, you guys, no matter the situation, will only ever be boring tools. Without even leaving his chair, he unleashed a single move. Knight's power, Tyrant's Fist. It sent Koan's personal knights flying. Even Koan himself struggled, forced to cross his arms to block the immense power. Lion slowly removed his mask, revealing his scarred face and a mocking smirk playing on his lips. While they were still stunned, he continued, unleashing a powerful wave of purple energy. The villain knew things were going south. He immediately called for backup. Old Hawk, already seated in a magic circle, was just waiting for the command to unleash the spell. Awaken, sleeping beast. A giant raging flame lion materialized before them, causing Lian to freeze solid. He looked up, hesitatingly asking, "This is?" Koa-an had no intention of explaining and just said curtly, "You wouldn't understand. I worked too damn hard to get this far. How could I possibly fail today?" Standing at the end of the chain, he yelled, "Raging flame lion, get him for me." The enraged lion's eyes were locked solely on Lian. But this time, the villain was in for a disappointment. The hero just smiled even brighter as he reminded him, "And that's why I said it. You people are always way too naive." The raging flame lion opened its massive jaws and charged at Lian with ferocious intensity. Just as its claws were about to strike, our hero leaped high into the air, dodging the attack in the nick of time. Missing its prey, the beast grew even more furious. A terrifying blast of fire, a scorching heat wave that's as beautiful as it is deadly, drills straight through the wall. Rock and debris explode everywhere. Kailan's men roar with excitement, as if victory is already in their hands. Whoa, our boss is gonna win for sure. This so-called Bai is nothing special after all. Our boss is invincible, Koa, and calmly walks through the wreckage to deliver a speech. My foolish Bai. If you have to blame someone, blame your own arrogance for daring to challenge me. But, before he could finish, Lian materializes from the smoke, his voice dripping with sarcasm. How? Interesting. Hearing that familiar voice, Koa-an flinches. There stands Lian, his body bare and covered in cracks. He continues his thought, his eyes fixed on the rage flame lion. Lian pauses, then finishes his sentence. A beast of this caliber. It's been a long time since I've seen one. Kwa, and quickly snaps out of it and screams his command, "Rage flame lion, kill him, don't even give him a chance to breathe." As the dust settles, Lian stands firm and continues his taunt. How pathetic. The moment the words leave his lips, he vanishes in the blink of an eye. A split second later, he's right in the rage flame lion's face, delivering a chilling warning. "I've killed countless beasts just like you." Radiating pure killing intent, he charges straight at it, not forgetting to flex his past kill count. Not just thousands, tens of thousands. The impact between man and beast creates a massive, earth-shattering explosion. Koa-an is forced to shield his face from the flying debris. He grits his teeth, cursing under his breath. Damn it, there's no way I'm losing. He decides to unleash his own knight's force and join the fight. He unleashes a single move, Undead Aura, and a vortex of black miasma swirls to life. As Lian is busy dealing with the rage flame lion, he's suddenly hit by a wave of skull energy, freezing him in place. Koa-an extends a hand, gloating over his signature technique. You're dead meat. These spirits will endlessly devour your life force. Once they latch on, there's absolutely no chance of survival. But Lian just wears them like accessories. He looks up with a smirk. Is that right? And just like that, Lian vanishes from sight once more. His hand closes on empty air. Lian reappears before him, completely unscathed, and laughs in his face. Koa-an stares at his empty palm in disbelief. How is this possible? Lian charges in, delivering the counterattack with a savage reply. Because I'm your daddy. His lightning-charged fist makes brutal contact, and Koa-an can only let out a pained grunt. He's sent flying, creating a crater in the wall, right next to the rage flame lion. Pinned to the stone, Koa-an is completely bewildered. Why? For once, Lian feels generous enough to let his enemy die, knowing the truth. Because, when it comes down to it, I'm also. Thinking of his companion, Kessie, he cheerfully delivers the final, infuriating truth. A member of the undead, myself. As he dashes in for the kill, he can't help but brag a little more. In fact, I'm the strongest one there is. So, what do you think your garbage tier spirits can do to me? Lian cocks back his fist, preparing to use his knight's force skill, Overlord's Fist. Unwilling to accept defeat, Koa-an makes one last desperate struggle. Damn it. Rage Flame Lion, get him. The beast obeys, leaping forward with claws bared for a sneak attack. Too bad for it. Lian was already poised and ready. Finishing a man or a monster, it's all the same to him. The unlucky Rage Flame Lion ends up taking the full force of the blow meant for its master. He watches his pet collapse before him. Frozen, it's hard to tell if it's from rage or fear. Realizing the fight is lost, Koa-an decides it's time to bail. Damn it. Lian watches his retreating back and scoffs. Trying to run? You really think you can escape me? But before he can give chase, the Rage Flame Lion gets back up and unleashes another fire blast. And smartly raises a hand to block the massive heat wave. The deflected energy explodes outwards, rocking the entire area. Lian is starting to lose his patience. This thing is as persistent as a leech. Looks like I'll have to put you down for good first. Meanwhile, Koa-an has already made it to the mansion gates, still reeling in shock. Damn it, who the hell times this guy? His answer comes as the gate behind him explodes. Lian steps out from the smoke, raising a fist as a greeting. Hey, little Koa-an, what's the big hurry? Leaving the now dead Rage Flame Lion behind, Lian leaps forward to pursue his real target. Seriously, wait up. He shamelessly struggles to blend into the crowded street, but he can already hear the mocking laughter. Holy shit, isn't that Lord Koa-an? Why does he look so pathetic? Yeah, isn't he usually so high and mighty? Haha, looks like the hero Bai gave him what he deserved. Way to go, Bai. Koa-an ignores their humiliating jeers, even finding the strength to scoff at them. A bunch of pathetic insects. Just stay there and be a nuisance for me. Koa-an ruthlessly unleashes his Knight's Force undead aura to create some human shields. The crowd, now engulfed in the dark energy, begins to scream in panic. Ah, what is this? Damn it, get off me. Ah, I'm going to die. As mere civilians, they have no hope of escaping this wicked attack. All they can do is model. He could only scream as he took the hit. With his life hanging by a thread, Lian charged in with his sword, like some kind of savior. The townspeople immediately writhed in agony, pleading, "It hurts so much. Bach, save us. I don't want to die." Quan watched this scene with sick pleasure and taunted him. A self-righteous hero like you can't just stand by and do nothing when you see this, can you? The bastard used innocent people to slow him down, but before he could get far, Lian was right on his tail. How is this possible? Lian just chuckled, ready to enlighten the moron. You're too naive. I'm a wraith who crawled back from hell. With a murderous aura, he leaped into the air, completely ignoring the lives of the ordinary people below. Then, hovering right above the man, he revealed his true intentions. What the hell does that have to do with me? Quan was so shocked by this cruelty that he cursed out loud. What the hell kind of psycho is this guy? He brought his sword down on his opponent like a bolt from the heavens. If Koan hadn't blocked it, he would have been sliced clean in two. The impact shattered Koan's sword. He screamed as the force sent him flying backward. On top of that, his own blade crumbled into dust. His old back slammed hard against the wall behind him. The sound alone was bone-jarring. He felt the sharp point of a sword at his throat, gritting his teeth in fury. Having successfully turned the tables, Lian sneered. Looks like your little game is over. Just then, Hakshni flew in to crash the party. Lian didn't even need to turn around to sense the danger. The old man expertly threw a volley of daggers, but he had no idea they were completely useless against Lian. Lian grabbed his arm, pulling him in close. You've got a death wish. But even though he was completely caught, Hakshni just let out a creepy laugh. Lian was stunned as the old man's body exploded into a flurry of magical chains. Wait a sec. He was the one shackled tight by them now. Watching Quan use the distraction to escape made his blood boil. Damn it. What the hell is this stuff? The coward scurried back to his castle's basement, making his way to a familiar spot. Koan stood before his sleeping lover, softly whispering her name, Asa. He pressed his face against the glass tank, murmuring, "What should I do now?" But it seemed he had already made up his mind. He stepped into a magic circle, muttering to himself, "Do I really have to go this far?" Demonic energy materialized, swirling in the darkness. Drawing power from the circle, Koan dragged himself towards Isa for his final words. So be it. Let it all end like this. He stared at her lifeless face, calling her name over and over. Isa. He shattered the glass and made a vow. I swear, I will make your dream come true. Koan's body began to transform, his skin blistering as demonic energy coursed through him. He held Isa tight, bracing for the agonizing transformation. Meanwhile, Lian gritted his teeth. He strained with every fiber of his being, his muscles threatening to burst. Damn it. A second later, he unleashed his power. The chains mercilessly snapped into pieces. Get the hell off me. He quickly recovered, his eyes narrowing. He examined the shattered chains closely, wondering to himself, holy crap, what in the world was that guy? Suddenly, the illusion around him vanished, revealing a section of the city. Then, without warning, buildings everywhere began to crumble. The citizens screamed in terror. Oh my God, what's happening? Is this an earthquake? Watch out, the ground is splitting apart. In the chaos, a disoriented little girl could only crouch and cry as the building behind her threatened to collapse right on top of her. Just moments from death, Lion appeared, shattering the falling debris with his bare hands and saving the little girl. He cursed under his breath. Damn it, what kind of mess is that bastard Cohen making now? Elsewhere, the sound of urgent footsteps rang out. A rushed voice called out, "Hurry, hurry up," Hackney said. "Lord Kwan has a reward for us. Let's move." Kai Lam glanced back as he ran, asking, "A reward? What for?" It's not like he could do anything to that Bach guy anyway. But Kai Luke didn't care. He only had the reward on his mind. Stop asking questions and let's go. At the end of the path, Hackney was already waiting. "Gentlemen, you've finally arrived. Lord Kwan has been waiting a long time for you." The three knights began to question him. "Hackney, what's this all about? Why would Lord Kwan suddenly want to reward us? Yeah, something doesn't feel right about this. That Bach guy is way too strong. Is it even possible for Lord Kwan to win?" The old man then solemnly broke the news. "Lord Kwan knows he is no match for Bach. He plans to flee Lamphong City to escape him. Before he goes, he wants to give you all a portion of his fortune." As soon as they heard fortune, the three underlings erupted in cheers. "Awesome! See, I knew we backed the right guy. Long live Lord Kwan." Hackney opened the door, gesturing for them to enter. Kai Luke eagerly rushed in first, his voice booming with excitement. "Lord Kwan, we've arrived." But nobody was there. But no one was there. Instead, a swarm of tentacles greeted them by turning them into human skewers. Kai Lam was too stunned to even speak. "Wait." The tentacles moved, hoisting their victims into the air as they screamed in agony. Lord Kwan." The beast opened its sharp-toothed maw, ready to devour its prey. A terrifying growl echoed through the chamber. Kai Lam's life force was drained by the tentacles until his face shriveled, his eyes rolling back as he was about to check out for good. After his little mukbang with the three henchmen, Koa and ruthlessly tossed the corpses aside and smashed through the ceiling to escape. The moment he reached the surface, he began to rampage wildly. Through the thick smoke and dust, he emerged like a colossal nightmare. His razor-sharp teeth and horrifying screams sounded like they came straight from the depths of hell. Hachi watched silently from a corner before soaring into the sky. He spread his arms, summoning more chains, and just like that, Hachi casually sat back to enjoy the show. Humans are such foolish, pathetic creatures. Having reached the surface, Koa-an was in his element, ready to take on the world. The civilians below fled for their lives in terror. "Oh God, save us. What is that monster?" Those who weren't fast enough were skewered in a straight line. "Help." Lion rushed in to the rescue. He gripped his sword tightly, and with one sharp slash, severed the tentacles. After successfully saving an innocent civilian, the man collapsed, crying out in pain. Furious that his meal was stolen, Kwa-an went berserk, turning on Lion and roaring. As he came face to face with his opponent, a confused Lion asked, "Tracy, what the hell is this thing?" Looking knowledgeable, she calmly explained, "It's just a flawed demon warrior. It's constantly absorbing power from everything around it to compensate for its deficient demonic energy." Still confused, he asked, "So a demon warrior is just some pet that bastard Koa-an is raising?" Tracy glanced at the creature and dropped a bombshell. "No, he times Koa-an. He resonated with a flawed purple fire blade. That's why the result is so catastrophic." Lian remembered the man he used to be and didn't hold back his criticism. "Koa-an? That guy really fell this far just for power." That name, Koa-an, triggered a roar, interrupting their conversation. Lian immediately drew his sword, ready to counter. But the beast didn't even bother to attack. It just turned and left. While Lion stood there, completely dumbfounded, Tracy quickly explained, "He's heading for the Rage Flame Lion's location to retrieve the purple fire blade fragments he used before, to complete his power." But Lion wouldn't stand for it. He raised his sword and declared fiercely, "Are you kidding me? Like hell, I'm gonna let you get what you want." Then he unleashed a powerful slash that tore through the air. Knight's power, Demon King's slash. The creature couldn't dodge in time and took a direct hit. Lion pressed his advantage, preparing to land a fatal blow. Koa-an, recovering just in time, fired back with a deadly beam of light. Luckily, Lion managed to block it, but he couldn't avoid injury. Gritting his teeth through the pain, Lion couldn't help but mutter, "Damn it, this guy's actually got some skills." The monster didn't stick around, quickly leaving its opponent standing there stunned. Pissed off, Lion gave chase, while cursing, "You bastard, I'll never let you get those fragments." Meanwhile, over at the Michaelatus church, Lonnie was cheering triumphantly on the corpse of the Rage Flame Lion. "This lion is so cute. Too bad it's dead, so dead." Suddenly, her attention was drawn to the church entrance, as a beam of light shot towards her. Before she could react, it slammed her into the wall. The wall instantly shattered, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. Koa-an approached the Rage Flame Lion's corpse, observing it closely. 2 fragments left. He ruthlessly plunged his tentacles into the corpse, sending blood spraying like a high-pressure hose. Just 2 more fragments, and I'll be fully unleashed. He then coldly held the blood-soaked heart in his hand, but suddenly, he sensed something was wrong. Koa-an screamed in a panic. "No, who are you? Get out of my body, now." A mysterious voice echoed. In his mind, "How foolish. I've already taken over your body. You think I'd leave so easily?" The beast struggled frantically, trying to escape the parasite inside. "No, this is my dream. Get out, get out." But it was all useless. The voice, emboldened, mocked him. "How ridiculous. You foolish human. You should just obediently offer up your body to me." Just then, Lian caught up. He lunged forward, swinging his sword and landing a precise blow on his opponent's arm. He coldly uttered 2 words. "Just die." The voice inside praised him without hesitation. "You are indeed very strong." A second later, the voice arrogantly issued a challenge. But what a shame. The game is over. Koa-an brought out the heart once more. After absorbing it, he let out a demented roar as an overwhelming killing intent radiated from his body. Lian was terrified, speechless, his mouth agape. Holy shit, this is... Before he could finish, a cataclysmic explosion obliterated the entire city. An entire civilization collapsed in the blink of an eye. Amidst the thick smoke, his chilling laughter echoed rhythmically. The demon warrior had been reborn, his entire body wreathed in hellfire, ready to incinerate anyone who stood in his way. He let out a ragged, hot breath. This feeling of ruling the world once more is magnificent. Overwhelmed by the terrifying pressure, Lian instinctively took a step back. The warrior on the rooftop wasn't his friend. It was the twisted result of a *** betrayed hero's resurrection ***. Now wielding terrifying *** divine power ***. It was back for one thing and one thing only. Brutal *** revenge ***. For Lian, this was a waking nightmare, a shocking lesson in what happens when you face a *** weak to OP betrayal ***. Just who the hell are you? He demanded. The demon warrior just smirked. Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is that you're about to die. Without another word, he dropped to the ground, unleashing his demonic art. Beams of light erupted in all directions, morphing into the 9-headed evil dragon formation. The beasts roared before lunging forward. Lian barely dodged in time. He was stunned, cursing under his breath. Holy shit. Before he could recover, the evil dragons below were already charging. He instantly swung his blade in a perfect arc. Knight's Force, Demon King's Cleave. The 2 colossal attacks raced toward each other as the very air held its breath. A moment later, a cataclysmic explosion tore the sky apart, its deafening roar echoing everywhere. Lian was sent flying by the sheer force of the blast. He had barely hit the ground when the demon warrior was already on him, landing a brutal punch that sent him reeling. He was launched for what felt like miles, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. But as it cleared, Lian stood defiant, a true warrior. Giving him no time to recover, his enemy dove from above, preparing to strike him down. Lian braced himself, creating a solid barrier. Knight's Force, Earthen Aegis. The warrior slammed down with all his might, screaming, "Idiot!" The shield shattered instantly. Lian was blasted away again, a blur disappearing into the distance. A moment later, he struggled to his feet, cursing through clenched teeth. Damn it, the power gap is just too insane. As if on cue, Tsai appeared beside him to rub salt in the wound. And you call yourself the strongest Night King? Look at you, getting completely wrecked. Lian wiped the blood from his lips, pissed at himself for underestimating this freak of nature. Son of a bitch, he muttered. Who knew this thing had this kind of power? The demon warrior turned his attention to the newcomer. Well, look what we have here, he sneered. Did you crawl out of a hole just to die with him? Tsai finally stepped forward, a magic circle flaring to life. You do realize, she said calmly, that victory doesn't always come from brute force. She locked eyes with him, speaking a profound truth. Sometimes, following the threads of destiny is the only real path to victory. The demon warrior's eyes widened in shock. What is this? Reflected in his pupils was a complex magic array. Suddenly, his inner world was laid bare, the real Koa-an, sealed and suspended in a void. A voice echoed from nowhere, trying to awaken him. Are you really content with this? Are you content with becoming a failure and being forgotten by the world? Koa unlowered his head in shame. No, he admitted. I'm not. The voice pressed on. Do you still remember your dream? Koa-an asked back, confused. My dream? The scene suddenly shifted to a lush green meadow. In the distance, Isa was waving at him. Hey, if you become the strongest man in the world one day, you have to promise you'll come and marry me, okay? Then, another memory flooded back. Koa-an, desperately protecting her from a group of thugs. Don't worry. As long as I'm here, I'll never let anyone hurt you. Time flashed forward. The two of them were embracing before thousands of soldiers. We will carve out a place for ourselves in this empire. I swear it. Snapping back to his mental prison, he clutched his head and screamed in agony. No, I haven't forgotten. I remember. A gentle hand reached out and touched him. We made a promise. Remember? Isa's voice was soft and reassuring. We will stand at the very top of the empire. Together, we will. In his confusion, Koa-an's resolve hardened. No, I absolutely will not allow anyone to defile our dream. Never. But when he looked again, she was gone. The demon warrior refocused his vision, scoffing at the internal struggle. I thought you were going to pull some kind of trick, but I guess that's all you've got. But his victory was short-lived. The real Koa-an's consciousness suddenly materialized, catching the entity completely off guard. The demon warrior shrieked in a panic. You bastard! You were supposed to be dormant. How the hell did you wake up? You dare defy a god? You deserve to die. But Koa-an fought back with equal fury. I don't give a damn what kind of god you are. Get the hell out of my body. Get out. Lion could only stare in disbelief. What in the world is happening? Tsai explained calmly. I merely plucked at the strings of his destiny. The rest is up to Koa-an himself. Get out, Koa-an roared. The entity hissed. Fine, if that's how you want it, don't blame me for putting you through a little more agony. In an instant, searing flames erupted from within, engulfing Koa-an's spiritual form. He screamed in pure torment. No, I can't lose. Seeing the tables turn, Tsai grew frantic. This is bad. Koa-an can't hold on much longer. We have to do something, fast. Unable to just stand by, Lion yelled back. Then what the hell are we supposed to do? Tell me, my track too. She guided him urgently. The Wheel of Fate reveals that you must resonate with the purple fire blade shard. It's your only chance to defeat the monster before you. Rion understood immediately. Piece of cake. Hell yeah, as long as I can take this bastard down. He reached behind him for the item, but it had vanished long ago. Panic surged through him. Shit, I lost it. He had no idea the shard was lying abandoned somewhere on the battlefield. Over with Koan, the flames roared with such intensity that the figure within was almost completely obscured. He struggled to the surface, spitting a curse. Damn it, the magic warrior, bored with its game, was eager to get down to business. All right, the boring interruption is over. Now, for the main event. Koan's soul, trapped inside the magic warrior's body, was being consumed by the flames, his voice fading to a despairing whisper. Is this the end? Everything I've worked for. On a distant road, a massive explosion suddenly rocked the earth. After completely crushing the remnant soul within its body, the magic warrior began to reform. The blast of heat made Rian curse. Holy shit, the enemy was right in front of him. Yet he was still frantically scanning the area. Where is that purple fire blade shard? Where the hell is it? I have to find it now. The warrior's eyes suddenly flashed with a pale golden light as it posed a bizarre question. Do you humans even get it? It lunged forward, still monologuing. To be asleep for 1,000 years in a dark, sunless world. The magic warrior slammed a fist straight down from above, its hoarse voice determined to finish its story. Do you know how much despair that brings? Rian just barely managed to activate his knight's power, earthen shield, to block the blow. But the shield he thought was unbreakable shattered into a million pieces under the sheer force of the impact. He couldn't avoid the damage. Arg. He was immediately sent flying, letting out a horrific scream. A scream so loud you could have heard it from the moon. The magic warrior wasn't done with him or its stupid story, and began to stalk toward Rian. You wouldn't understand. As a mere human, how could you possibly comprehend a god's wrath? How could I possibly understand? Like a defiant weed breaking through concrete, he pushed himself up, sneering darkly at his foe. No, you're wrong, you fool. I'm not human. His eyes burned with untamable defiance, his voice dropping several degrees colder. Not anymore, at least. Hearing this, the warrior seemed intrigued. Oh, then what are you? Ryan channeled power into his hand, which was burned completely black, and replied with pure arrogance. Me? I'm a goddamn. He then slammed his hand onto the ground, and a cloud of skull-shaped smoke erupted to accompany his badass declaration. Vengeful Ghost. This one move, Knight's Power, Desert Shroud, instantly blanketed the entire area in a black curtain. The magic warrior's eyes widened in sheer astonishment, as if it had never witnessed such a thing. Seizing the moment of distraction, Rian flashed behind his opponent, then cloaked his fist in Knight's Power, preparing a sneak attack, but its reflexes were nothing to scoff at. The second Rian threw a powerhouse punch. It managed to block it with its arm. It had thought its opponent was a mere ant, but now, feeling the sting of that ant's bite, the magic warrior was truly pissed off. Damn you, how do you know so many techniques? Rian realized he couldn't land a solid blow. He leaped backward, clicking his tongue in frustration. Tch! He stared down his enemy, his mind racing to find a new plan. This is bad. I can't keep fighting him head on. If this keeps up, I'm toast. Since he was completely outmatched, retreating was the best option for now, all while continuing his desperate search. Damn it. The purple fireblade shard. Where the hell did I lose it? But it seemed fate hadn't abandoned him. From the distance, a dazzling light suddenly flashed, catching his eye. A shard of the purple fireblade lay still on the ground, glowing with incredible brilliance. Rian's face lit up with pure joy. Found it. Meanwhile, the magic warrior was looking around, completely baffled. Damn it, where did that guy go? Then, it suddenly noticed something. Wait a minute. Is that? Following the direction Rian ran, it also saw the shimmering object in the distance. The magic warrior recognized it instantly, its eyes locking onto the target like searchlights. The purple fireblade. It didn't hesitate for another second. It immediately gave chase, a wicked smile spreading across its face. You think I'd let you take that? This is the final piece of my power. Rian was now just inches away from the shard, celebrating in his head. Payback time. I got it. But he celebrated a second too soon. In a blur, the magic warrior appeared right next to him. Rian's triumphant smile died instantly. In its place was a look of pure, dumbfounded shock. What? Victory was so close he could taste it, only to have it snatched away. Caught completely off guard, he was sent flying by a massive blow. Get the hell out of my way. He flew in a straight line until he slammed into a house, with enough force to leave a massive crater in the wall. Rian leaned against the wall in agony, gasping for air and cursing through gritted teeth. Son of a bitch. He could only watch helplessly as the monster approached his purple fireblade. The magic warrior bent down. He picks it up, his words twisting the knife. Game over. This is the final fragment. Turns out, he was the one to win it all. A smug grin plastered across his face. I'll be taking this. The second he says it, an immense power erupts, blasting everything nearby away with sheer force. Lion grits his teeth, watching the scene unfold. We're screwed. After fusing with the seventh fragment, he grows immensely powerful and lets out a satisfied laugh. Ha ha ha, after 3,000 years. I can finally reclaim my full power. This entire world will kneel before me, but Lion refuses to give up. He charges in alone, roaring. I won't let you get away with this. Meanwhile, in the castle basement of Lamfong City, familiar footsteps crunch over shattered debris, heading deeper inside. A cold voice echoes, Fate. Tri-Tu leans on her staff, approaching, a shattered pedestal. She continues slowly. Where it all began is where it must end. Then, she uses her staff to draw a magic circle filled with strange symbols, muttering an incomprehensible incantation. This world was finally ignited by those stubborn fools. As she finishes, Koa-un's eyes snap open. This is the start of a betrayed hero's resurrection. He was supposed to be dead and gone, but a final ember of his life remained. Now, awakened by her spell, the flames of hatred ignite within him, setting the stage for his divine power, revenge. I will never allow any of those bastards to defile my dream. This weak to OP betrayal fuels a raging inferno of resentment. Hatred overflows like a flash flood as he screams, Never. Back at the one-sided battle, the demonic warrior is now more powerful than ever. He gloats prematurely. I've already won, you foolish human. But even facing an absurdly strong opponent, Lion bravely stands his ground. Like hell, I'll let that happen. The demon easily uses just one hand to block the attack, his tone dripping with mockery. It's hilarious, you'd risk your life like this, but it's already over. He glares, hatred etched on his face. Once I finish resonating with this power, you'll be the first to die. But right at that moment, Koa-un's soul suddenly awakens, fighting for control. Inside the same body, shocking the demonic warrior. One of his own hands suddenly punches him right in the face, much to his own astonishment. His body splits into two different colors. The demon finally realizes, it's you. Koa-an, the resurrected soul erupts with inner strength, forcing his hands to choke his own neck as he declares, "Anyone who dares steal my body must die." Thanks to this interruption, Lai-un narrowly escapes the Grim Reaper's scythe, just in the nick of time. Seeing the chaotic scene, he smirks. This is my chance. In a land of heavy snow, Lai-un kneels on the cold ground. Hat-ka walks forward, not looking back at the young man in the knight's cloak. You will fight your entire life for the glory and light of the empire and the happiness of its people. Only then does she turn to ask, "Are you truly ready?" The Lai-un of that time was still naive, his eyes fixed on the woman he loved as he vowed, "Of course, I am ready. I will sacrifice everything for my ideals." That beautiful memory ends, but it fuels his resolve in this battle. And that's why I will never. He channels all his strength into his burnt arm, roaring, "Betray my oath." He lunges forward, slamming the knight's overlord fist right into the demon's gut. With just that one blow, Lai-un sends him flying dozens of meters, kicking up a storm of debris. The demon struggles to find, skid to a halt, digging 2 long trenches in the ground. Lai-un bends down and picks up the final fragment of the purple fire ring. The crucial item is now in his hands. He smirks triumphantly. Got it. That smile is like a slap in the face to the demon, whose face contorts with rage. Damn it. How could I let you steal it? That belongs to me. Suddenly, the below warrior senses something, frowning as he looks down. The soul inside him is trying to reclaim control of its rightful body, infuriating the hot-headed demon. Damn it, Koa-an, it's you again. He roars at the invader. You goddamn thief, get out of my body, get out. But the demonic warrior, having tasted this power, isn't about to let go. Shut up. If you keep struggling, we'll both die. We'll both die. Off to the side, Lai-un suddenly coughs up a spray of blood. Asterisk, cough, cough, asterisk. He looks at the fragment in his hand, panting as he wonders. This really isn't easy. I'm the one who was betrayed. So why am I still risking my life like this? Remembering that beautiful, cold face, a different feeling begins to stir deep within his heart. Perhaps Haka wasn't the only one I loved. Lai-un then clutches the fragment, his resolve hardening. I absolutely cannot lose this time. He raises his hand high and screams, "Even if I'm not worthy, you damned fragment of the purple fire ring, please grant me the power to defy fate and change my destiny." The second he finished, a pillar of light shot straight into the sky. In an instant, it felt as if countless streams of power were pouring into him, forcing Lai-un to let out an agonized scream. The demon warrior was now absolutely furious. The weakling he'd always despised had just obtained the very thing he sought, and he couldn't help but curse. Son of a bitch. He clenched his fist and roared in Lai-un's face. You bastard. How dare you defile my sacred treasure? High above, a figure floated in midair, observing the scene below. That person was none other than old, he frowned, criticizing his own creation. What a damn shame. After I spent so long setting this all up, is it all going to be ruined by this freak? Meanwhile, from the basement below, Maisi witnessed the entire pillar of light through a hole in the ceiling. She praised him with a satisfied smirk. Looks like I didn't bet on the wrong horse. A moment later, a dark silhouette emerged from within the pillar of light. Lai-un was reborn. Witness my power. Purple fire ring. In that very instant, a surge of power descended from the heavens. His legs became rock solid, now encased in a layer of protective armor. And it wasn't just his legs, his entire body was transforming. His eyes flashed as a raging inferno ignited within them. He coldly declared, "It's over." Back with the demon warrior, his opponent was still using brute force to restrain his enemy. Just stay down, Koa-an. The guy was already weak, and now he was coughing his lungs out after pulling that stunt on himself. He muttered to himself like a total psycho. Damn it, why do I have to resort to this just to barely keep this bastard under control? Suddenly, the last remnant of Koa-an's soul managed to send a telepathic message to Lai-un, the heart. That's his weak spot. Lai-un understood immediately. That wisp of a soul was instantly vaporized by the flames, yet its voice continued to echo in his mind. Please, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Receiving this critical intel, Lai-un quickly made a vow. I get it. I won't let you down, Koa-an. The demon warrior couldn't even stop the soul's last words, so now, all he could do was curse the man. Damn it, that son of a bitch couldn't even die quietly. But he quickly regained his composure, laughing tauntingly at his opponent. Even so, I have a total of 6 fragments combined on me. You only have 1. How the hell do you plan on beating me? Lion wasn't provoked by his words, calmly tightening his grip on his blade. Why don't we find out? In his mind, an image of his younger self appeared, and he asked himself a question. Do you remember? The person who once gave his all for his dream. Passive skill acquired. Ancient memory. He shot forward like a rocket, and in the next second, unleashed a devastating slash, Demon King's raging flame slash. It carved a beautiful arc through the air. However, the demon warrior was no pushover. He opened his maw and spewed a torrent of fire. Useless. The flame expanded like a cannon blast, shooting straight ahead. The battle had reached its absolute peak. A blade of energy and a blast of fire rushed toward each other. The moment they collided, a world-shaking explosion erupted. The shockwave rocked the entire area. But the fight wasn't over. Lian gave his enemy no time to rest and leaped high into the air. He readied his next attack, then brought his blade down on the demon warrior's head. But this time, he still managed to block it. So he gloated mockingly, "It's hopeless. You're just a mere mortal, daring to resonate with demonic energy. Sooner or later, the backlash will kill you." And just as he said, a wave of intense pain shot through Lion's burnt arm. Lion gritted his teeth and shot back. "You wouldn't understand." The two clashed once more. His nostalgic voice began to narrate over the action. "I was once just a kid from the lowest rungs of society. That terrifying memory still haunted him every single day. I remember just how weak I used to be. But it was those very experiences from his youth that forged the Lion of today. And that's exactly why he had to win. If I had given up so easily, how could I have ever made it to this day?" He pushed himself to his absolute maximum speed. His hand summoned a purple orb of energy as he yelled to build his courage. Ah! The demon warrior saw this and knew the situation was bad. Shit, how did he suddenly get so fast? The ancient memory passive was clearly giving him a massive power boost. "I once carried countless hopes on my shoulders." The demon couldn't believe it. "How many times has this bastard gotten back up? I've charged headfirst into death itself. How could I possibly fall here? No guts, no glory." This time, he truly went all in. The demon warrior couldn't believe his eyes, blurting out, "What?" In the blink of an eye, he was sent flying. A blood-curdling scream echoed through the area. Ah! As the victor, Lion offered his defeated foe a final smile. So long. The memory of the day he officially set foot on his path of endless battle flashed before his eyes. Xia Ji's elegant voice seemed to echo in his ear. "And so, from this day forward, you are a knight of our kingdom." He stared blankly at the ruined city, with a million things left unsaid. Yet, Lian chose to remark with surprising sincerity, "What a beautiful world this is." Above the dark, gloomy fortress, rain poured from a sky torn apart by lightning. Each drop splashed down, nourishing a lone wild rose growing by the road. In the desolate rain, amidst the ruins, the phantom warrior and Koa-on's very souls seemed to merge into one. Two shattered pieces, wreathed in flame, began to fuse. At last, his golden eyes flickered open, regaining their focus. The cool rain seemed to douse the flames of his ambition, leaving him reflective. "Ah, it's raining, isn't it?" But his poetic moment was cut short by a swift kick. "Hey, you idiot, stop playing dead." Before Koa-on could even process what was happening, Lion launched into a tirade. "Look at the fine mess you've made. All you wanted was that demonic weapon, and you plunged your own damn city into chaos to get it. This once bustling, peaceful town is now nothing but a lifeless pile of rubble. But Kwa, and just saw it as pure hypocrisy. Cut the crap. If it wasn't for me, you never would have beaten that bastard." Lian shot back, unfazed. "If it wasn't for times you asterisk, I wouldn't have had to fight this battle at all. I'm freaking exhausted." At that, Kwa-on struggled to sit up, finally admitting his folly. "It was Hach-ni. He tricked me. He told me absorbing the demonic weapon would grant me ultimate power. But he never mentioned the side effects." An image of the man flashed in Lion's mind. "Hach-ni? You mean that idiot with the chains?" Koa-an knew his body was failing and dropped the tough act. "I'm dying. If I wasn't, I'd hunt that bastard down and get my revenge. That son of a bitch. He actually dared to trick me." Suddenly, Trai-Tu appeared, carrying Ga-sa in her arms. "Don't worry," she said. "Before you die, I brought the person you wanted to see." She laid it all out clearly. "You helped us. No matter what you did before, we owe you our thanks for that." This moved Koa-on to his very core. I am truly grateful. You even knew my final wish." Trai-Tu had read him perfectly. "Your life began with this girl. It's only right that it ends with her, too." And for the first time, a man as proud as him shed tears for the one he loved. Yeah, in the end, we're still together. With the last breath of his life, Koa and wanted to say her name one more time. Gasa. And just like that, the eyes that gazed at her so lovingly closed forever. Lian watched the tragic end with cold indifference. He's dead. Try two, however, was far more empathetic. Let's hold a funeral for them, right here in the rain. It's the least we can do. They were all just pitiful souls, toyed with by fate. Lian understood what she meant and agreed. You're right. It was all because of these fragments. They may grant immense power, but they bring out the worst greed in people. As she began to gather the fragments, she explained, this is one of the 7 legendary demonic weapons, said to be able to defy fate itself. As the purple flames faded, a sword materialized in midair. The purple fire blade. They say that in its complete form, a single swing can wipe an entire city off the map. Even in this tragic moment, Lian's mind was calculating. I guess you could call this lucky. Lucky for us, that Koa An guy was missing the final piece. Otherwise, I don't think I would have stood a chance. But just then, a rift in space tore open behind him. His instinct screamed that something was wrong. Wait a second. And just as he thought, countless chains of dark energy shot out. Lian's sharp survival instincts allowed him to dodge the deadly strike just in time. There was absolutely no warning. Hachni stepped out from the rift, like the Grim Reaper himself had come to call. Trey-Tu couldn't believe he'd used a diversion. What? She lunged for the purple fire blade, but he was too fast. A simple flick of his wrist sent her flying. The moment the blade was in his grasp, an indescribable wave of joy and satisfaction washed over him. I've got it. Lian immediately charged him. Let go of that, now. But it was too late. The chains coiled into a shield, blocking his sword. This gave Hachni enough time to taunt him. Oh, my poor, pitiful Night King, you truly are strong. But right now, you're just a spent arrow. Having achieved his goal, he moved in for a quick kill. Goodbye. Your little show has finally reached its curtain call, but Lian's iron will, forged across 2 lifetimes, refused to let him give up. Are you kidding me? The only one whose show is over. Daughter is you. With nothing left to lose, he poured every last ounce of his strength into one final attack. Knight's Force. Demon King's Slash. Model. Hachni's eyes widened in shock as things began to spiral out of his control. He dodged just in time, narrowly avoiding the tragic fate of being sliced in 2. Though his face was slick with sweat, he forced himself to look calm. Not bad. You're pretty badass for a former Night King. But this was more than a battle. It was a ***. Betrayed hero's resurrection ***. Too bad for you, he sneered. You're completely out of power now. The last-ditch gamble left our hero filled with regret. Damn it, I'm out of mana, completely powerless. A harsh reminder of the *** weak to OP betrayal *** that started this whole mess. After losing an arm, Hachni decided to cut his losses. I was planning to play a few more rounds with you, but time's up. I should get going now. Xia Ji knew fighting was useless and calmly accepted it. So your plan is about to begin? She growled, spitting out the name she hated down to her very bones, Resas. The old man's expression didn't flicker. He was even in the mood to joke. Oh, my foolish Xia Ji, it's been a long time. I believe that in the end, you will be the one to feel regret for the day you chose to betray me. Despite his grandstanding, she remained confident. Resas, you will lose. And I swear, in the end, you will be defeated by the very man you're looking down on right now. But Hachni just thought it was an empty bluff to provoke him. Well then, I'll have to keep my eyes wide open and see what kind of man the witch's destiny has chosen. The ancient gods are about to awaken. I want to see what you weak, foolish humans plan on using to stop them. Anyway. As soon as the words left his mouth, he vanished into a spatial rift. Lian could only unleash his anger and helplessness. On the ground, his body trembled with pain, but it couldn't extinguish his burning hatred. His quest for *** divine power revenge *** had officially begun. Damn it! Lian's face was grim as he asked, You know that guy? Xia Ji didn't hide it or beat around the bush. Yes. In a way, you could say he and I are old pals. This time, Lian couldn't hold back his emotions any longer. Son of a bitch, he directed all his anger at her. You should have told me sooner. I could have been prepared, and the demonic weapon wouldn't have been lost. But she calmly shot down his fantasy. Let's not kid ourselves, Lian. You and I both know the truth. You were already exhausted just from dealing with one magic warrior. All Lian could do was weakly protest. Just then, a figure came running frantically towards them from a distance. Ow, it hurts. It hurts. I'm looking for my brother Bai. Brother. Where's my brother Bai? He knew this wasn't the right time for this, so he let it go. I can let it slide this time, but next time, you tell me everything you know. I don't want to be kept in the dark. Xia Ji had no intention of keeping it a secret. I didn't expect him to be revived so quickly either. This time, it was truly my mistake. Luo Er ran a long way and finally reached them. Brother Bai, I found you. The moment she saw him, she immediately started to whine and complain. Brother Bai, that mean lion really hurt me. Brother Bai, you have to make it better. Lion gently stroked her head and soothed her. It's okay, my dear Luo Er. Don't worry, I'm here now. You won't get hurt again. Then, he didn't forget to put Xia Ji on the spot. Tonight, you're telling me everything you know. She agreed without hesitation. Of course. Hearing that, Luo Er immediately went into spoiled princess mode. No, I got hurt today, so I want a reward. I want Brother Bai to stay and play with me. Although he adored her, he wasn't about to spoil her rotten. Be good now. How about I come play with you tomorrow? I'm covered in injuries and really need some rest. She was also worried about him, so she quickly dropped her act. Okay then, Brother Bai, you have to promise to rest up, and then you'll play with me. Lion gave her a firm promise. Okay, don't you worry. No one noticed a sound coming from the nearby rubble, and pushed aside the debris and climbed out to see what was going on. As soon as she took in the scene, the little girl cheered at the top of her lungs. Holy shit, it's Bai. Bai saved us again. The other surviving villagers expressed their overwhelming gratitude. It's Bai. Bai saved us. Bai is our savior. People began to flock towards them, creating a wave of roaring cheers. The great Bai, the benevolent Bai, the benevolent Bai, the great Bai. Lion seemed to be getting used to this kind of passionate praise. Look at that. I'm the center of attention for thousands of people once again. But in his mind, he was subconsciously comparing it to the scenes from his past life. Fucking traitor, go to hell. Stop being so arrogant. What's so great about being a knight? Look how pathetic you are now, you idiot. His eyes unconsciously filled with resentment. It's just, their attitude towards me seems a little different this time. Their meeting spot was Kohen Castle. Lion walked in confidently and announced, I'm here. Xia Ji didn't bother with greetings and got straight to it. Did you know? This is the very place where Kohen and the fragment of the demonic weapon synchronized. Her smile was bitter, as if she could already see a tragic, fated future. Destiny has already taken control of everything. Whether it's you or Kohen, in the end, neither of you can escape its grasp. But he cut her off, annoyed. Stop with the vague bullshit. I came here for information, not to listen to your meaningless chatter. Having worked together for a while, Tyrus understood a bit of Ryan's personality. Then come, give me your hand, and we'll explore that piece of history together. After the last incident, his guard was way up. What are you trying to pull? A flash of disappointment crossed her face. You're even suspicious of me now? Didn't we agree to be partners? To cooperate? He bluntly laid out his thoughts. I actually did trust you, until I suddenly realized you were hiding something from me. But in the end, he still reached for her hand. Whatever. You saved my life, so I'll let your secrecy slide just this once. Tyrus knew this was her last chance, so her attitude was incredibly sincere. Don't worry, I'll tell you everything I know next. I'll tell you it all. Ryan didn't respond, just watched intently as the light between them grew stronger. The moment he was teleported to another location, his brain completely short-circuited for a second. He found it hard to believe he was floating in the middle of a spectacular, yet utterly alien, natural landscape. After regaining his senses, he questioned the only person here who knew the answer. Where the hell are we? Tyrus casually introduced the scene as if it were perfectly normal. This is the world 5,000 years ago. Back then, humanity was still in its savage era, and they were being enslaved by ancient gods. Suddenly, terrified screams erupted from below, along with the frantic sound of running feet. A group of young men were fleeing for their lives, screaming their heads off. Help! Somebody help us! Please! They used every ounce of strength to escape the massive shadow about to crash down on them. Somebody help, please. But no matter how hoarse their desperate screams became, their fate of being crushed beneath a giant hand was already sealed. As it slowly lifted, an entire patch of ground was drenched in steaming, fresh blood. Chunos looked incredibly proud of himself. He showed off his kill to his friend. Look at that. Pretty powerful punch, don't you think? Katoon, however, was annoyed by his friend's actions. Are you kidding me? Is that how you play with these pets? Then, he immediately showed him how it's done. This is how you get a real handful. Tyrus let Ryan witness it all before explaining. This was the ancient era. Before the immense power of the old gods, humans were treated no better than pigs and dogs. Facing such inhuman strength and size made him even more curious. So how did ancient humans possibly manage to defeat these giant monsters? She calmly corrected his naive assumption. No, you're wrong. Humans couldn't defeat the gods. Only a god can defeat another god. Ryan still didn't quite get it. What do you mean? Tyrus patiently explained in more detail. Humanity's strength was pathetic. Defeating the old gods was completely impossible for them. If humanity wanted to win, they had to exploit the conflicts brewing among the old gods themselves. Satus ran breathlessly through the dense forest, finally arriving before the soundly sleeping Chunos. While their own bodies remained unharmed, only by making the old gods destroy each other could humanity sit back and reap the rewards. She began to reveal the past as the events unfolded before their eyes, and the human who managed to do this was Satus. A flash of unyielding determination, rare among prehistoric people, shone in his eyes. Without a shred of fear, Satus bravely woke the god. Lord Chunos, I have brought the information you require. It's about resters. Pausing mid-story, Ryan glanced sideways at Tyrus. His voice was slow and full of suspicion. Information? She gave a slight nod, her words flowing as if rehearsed. That's right. Even gods are full of lies, deceit, and schemes against one another. Satus kowtowed before Chunos, showing his loyalty. I've sent people to scout Halun Island. His whole body trembled as he used the last of his strength to scream a warning. Khatoon is indeed researching a sealing magic. I'm certain of it. Hearing this, the god slammed his fist into the ground in a rage, leaving a deep crater right in front of him. That son of a bitch. His mind, consumed by fury, made his eyes glow blood red as he let out an earth-shattering roar. Why would he research that kind of magic? Who the hell is he trying to seal? Satus frantically spilled more information, trying to cling to any hope of survival from the powerful god before him. The only way now is to strike first. Otherwise, once his sealing magic is complete, we're all screwed. Chunos summoned his massive, energy-infused greatsword, his body bursting into flames as he charged forward. Khatoon, you bastard, I'm coming for your head. Satus said nothing, waiting until the god was out of sight before letting out a heavy sigh. He remained in his pathetic kneeling position, glancing at the figure disappearing behind the distant trees, realizing he was now alone in the vast clearing, the subordinate. This is a story of a betrayed hero's resurrection, a path paved with deception. A man steps out. My lord, we're out of time. Satus gives the order. Go now, he says, his voice strained. Warn Khatoon Ram on Halun Island. Tell him Chegunos is coming to kill him. The gears of a massive weak to OP betrayal begin to turn, and the subordinate acts without question. I'm on my way. With no one watching, Satus clenches his fist, his voice filled with a new power, setting his plan for divine power revenge into motion. Everything will be decided here. High above, Lion floats in the void, witnessing it all unfold. But he can't comprehend the bizarre actions of the mortal below. So, this is the Satus of old? Daring to stand against the very gods. He's got guts. Zetus glances down with contempt, his praise dripping with sarcasm. That's right. He was once hailed as a dragon-slaying hero. The next morning, he stands firm, watching the battle. Two gods clash by the cliffs, their power shaking the very earth as they trade blows and curses like sworn enemies. Little do they know, they're just pawns in a game set long ago. Tell me, why are you trying to assassinate me? You're the one who started researching sealing magic. Who the hell are you planning to seal? Even as he's choked and pushed down, underwater. Khatoon struggles to explain. Who I seal is none of your damn business. I have to defend myself from others. But his words only add fuel to the fire. Chegunos' hand, wrapped around Khatoon's throat, trembles with rage. Shut your mouth. You're obviously planning to seal me. Don't even try to deny it. He throws a punch packed with raw power, aiming straight for his opponent without hesitation. You bastard, get the hell off me. Pushed to the brink, he roars for backup. Satus, get out here. From the murky Black Sea, he slowly rises as summoned, his eyes gleaming with deadly intent. Raising his cold, gleaming sword high, he yells the command to unleash the formation. Halun Sealing Art, activate. Instantly, a magic circle flashes to life on the ocean's surface, neatly trapping both gods within it. Seeing the familiar face submerged in the water, Chegunos is so enraged he can only hiss, Satus. You. Before he can finish his curse, he takes a devastating blow that forces a choked, agonized grunt from his lips. As the traitorous god's hand pierces his chest, he grits his teeth in bitter realization. He's been betrayed at the last second. Savoring the look of agony on his enemy's face, Khatoon lets out a wild laugh as he gathers more power. "You goddamn bastard, Chegunos. You've pushed me too many times. Now, it's payback time." Golden chains erupt from the ceiling circle below, like vengeful spirits. He screams in pure fury as the chains constrict around him, a roar that shakes the very heavens. "Khatoon, you're insane. You actually dare to seal a god? Me? Insane?" He replies to the blinding rage, calmly channeling more power into the seal, a satisfied smirk on his face. "It took me so much effort to get you into my trap. You really think I'd let you escape now?" The chains coil tighter around Chegunos, forcing out guttural screams of rage and searing pain. "Damn you!" Amidst the thick white smoke billowing from the chains, his body begins to fade away into the cruel mist. Only when the chains have completely swallowed his rival does Khatoon break into a triumphant grin, his eyes gleaming with victory. When the last wisp of smoke clears, Chegunos' form has been reduced to a death core, lying dormant among the layers of shining divine chains. As he gently withdraws his sword, the chains, as if sentient, immediately release their hold. Khatoon casually retracts the seal, a scornful laugh escaping his lips as he gazes at the prize in his hand. "Umph. Chegunos, how ridiculous. You were always so arrogant and high and mighty. Bet you never thought this day would come." Having watched everything unfold, Satis can't hide his growing anxiety. "Master, now that we've dealt with Chegunos, what happens if the other gods come looking for answers?" In response, Khatoon simply swings his sword through the air, and the ocean splits in two with the silent hiss of his divine might. The force from the blade is so immense, it cleaves a mountain in half, sending a thunderous roar echoing across the land. Drenched in the freezing seawater and battered by waves, Satis can only tremble in absolute terror. After demonstrating his badass power, he looks down arrogantly at his subordinate and scoffs. "You think they'd dare? Not only have I mastered the sealing art, but now I also wield the remnant power of Chegunos." In less than a breath, Satos clasps his hands and bows low, in absolute submission to this irresistible divine power. "You are right, Master. As of now, you are the strongest being in this entire world." Despite winning with what was basically a cheap trick, Khatoon shamelessly roars at the heavens themselves. "Ha ha ha. In this world, there is no one left who dares to challenge me." After watching the whole thing like a pro-drama binger, Lyon's expression turns serious as he speaks. "So, this is how it all began?" Noticing his companion's confusion, Zetas. She didn't hesitate, slowly explaining every single detail. "That's right. Khatoon had laid this trap long ago, finishing the sealing formation. The moment Chegunos stepped inside, even a mere mortal could activate the seal." Facing that disgusting, smug face, her voice dripped with bitter contempt. Khatoon, of course, was gloating. He'd obtained the Soulfire Blade, meaning he now held a fraction of Chegunos' power. She revealed another vision, where the burning red eyes of the gods stared right back at him, but he never expected that this act was no different than opening Pandora's box. From that moment on, the gods began to suspect, conquer, and finally slaughter one another. Living in a bloody world of survival, the so-called gods began to step out of their comfort zones, including Honduras. And to gain a greater advantage, the gods started using the power of mortals. Xia Ji led him to witness a conversation between a master and his servant, Khatoon. "Sasi, I grant you a portion of my power. Summon a tidal wave and stop Honduras for me." "Yes, master." As proof, they even shared their divine power with humans. But the one blessed with this gift was the very first to fall. As greed and panic clouded their minds, the gods waged war on each other even more fiercely, while humanity grew stronger and stronger from the power they received. Sasi also silently gritted his teeth and endured the humiliation, moving his final plan forward, step by step. One day, realizing his golden opportunity had come, he plunged his spear deep into Khatoon, sending the deceitful god to his grave. And finally, humanity had gained enough power to defeat a god, even if it was just a sneak attack. The god's crimson eyes trembled, veiled in a layer of terror, unable to believe the brutal scene before him. "Sasi, you." His face was filled with murderous intent, his voice dropping to a dangerous low. "I've been patient for so long, just waiting for this day." The mortal who was, once despised, now stood at the pinnacle of glory, built upon the corpses of the heavens. Sasi had accomplished a great feat. He defeated an ancient god and brought humanity a future without gods. Xia Ji was frozen by his utterly inhuman aura, her lips trembling as she recounted the tale. But after he destroyed all the ancient gods, he himself wanted to become the god of the new world. He raised his sword high, his heart filled with excitement as he addressed the crowd. From this day forward, his arrogant voice echoed everywhere. I am your god. All the citizens were terrified, but they were forced to cheer along, which pissed her off too. This is destiny. Midway through the story, Lion suddenly sensed something was wrong and yelled out, "Wait a minute." He could only stare at his own hands as the illusion began to fade. This was the moment the illusion world disappeared, and he unconsciously wondered in his confusion, "What's happening? Why did I get kicked out?" Seeing his bewildered expression, Xia Ji calmly answered, "It was Xia Ji. He tampered with the wheel of fate, making it impossible for me to see." What happened next? Like a ghost among the misty stones, she continued to speak, ignoring his lost gaze. "So, now you should understand exactly what kind of enemy you're about to face, right?" As the last words left her lips, Heer broke through the final line of defense and entered the main hall. He was a real son of a bitch, one who played even the gods like puppets in the palm of his hand. Bowing before Xia Ji, the old man's booming voice rang out, "My esteemed queen, I just took a look at the situation with that little lover boy of yours." Hidden beneath his wrinkled cloak, the old man's face was a mask of unpredictable malice. "He's not bad, you know. A rather interesting man. And now, he has his eyes on us." Xia Ji didn't say a word, simply summoning her divine power to raise an array of blades, all aimed at the man below. With a wave of her hand, they shot through the air without mercy. Yet, every single blade flew past with intent, unanimously dodging Heer, as if programmed to do so. The old man's aged face winced, pissed off by her blatant show of force. Even though she attacked first, she felt no remorse and even growled. A warning. "Xia Ji, we had a deal. I can help you eliminate Lion, but you damn well better keep your end of the bargain." Xia Ji's eyes radiated pure dissatisfaction as she spat the words. "Otherwise, by the wrath of the Barbaros clan, I swear I will drag you back to the 9 hells, even if it costs me my life." Faced with her absolute authority, Heer wasn't scared in the slightest and shot back with flair. "Don't get so worked up, my esteemed queen. It was just a little joke, that's all. A beautiful little joke." His words were like thorns, forcing a frustrated grunt out of her. Xia Ji whipped around, her voice sharp and unyielding. "Sooner or later, I will kill you." Hearing this, the old man just chuckled, then dropped a sarcastic remark without a shred of respect. "Before that happens, why don't we just dream of a brighter future together?" The moment Hatcher opened his mouth, the mood turned ice cold. A killer aura poured out of him, a clear warning. "I trust our partnership will be as solid as a rock, just like our friendship." Elsewhere, in a damp cellar, a single torch flickered, casting eerie shadows on the cracked stone walls. Ryan idly poked the dirt with a stick, his voice dripping with exhaustion. "I need more info. Like, what the hell happened between you and Sats? Even if your wheel of fate won't show me, you can still use your damn words and tell me." Xia Ji frowned, lost in thought. Suddenly, Ryan lunged, grabbing her arm and screaming. He looked like his very soul was being ripped out. "Xia Ji, I promised to help you gather demonic energy, but now we're facing an enemy like times this asterisk. I don't even know who the hell this guy is. How am I supposed to fight him?" The grip wasn't excruciating, but it was enough to make her wince in annoyance. "The wheel of fate tells me. It is not yet time for you to know. When the time is right, you will understand." The second she said that, Ryan exploded. He was done being polite. "The wheel of fate again? Every single time I ask about you, you hide behind that bullshit excuse." She couldn't help but let out a little smirk, teasing him. "I'm just a lonely ghost. Why are you so obsessed with learning about me?" His anger, which had barely cooled, ignited all over again, blazing in his eyes. A lonely ghost, huh? Under the silent, starry sky, his long shadow only made him seem even more alone. "Honestly, I'm the same." The next morning, harsh sunlight beat down on the city of Linfeng. The city revealed a rare, stark beauty. Meanwhile, the room Ryan was renting was a complete pigsty. You could even hear him mumbling in his sleep, "Chicken leg." He was drooling all over his pillow, lost in a delicious dream. So tasty. Suddenly, the door burst open. It was La Air, and she clearly didn't care about making a quiet entrance. Mr. Bai, I have amazing news." Ripped from his dream, Ryan shot up, immediately letting out a string of curses. His face was a thundercloud. "What? What's so important? Can't you see I was sleeping? It's the crack of dawn." She barged in with her entire crew to drop the bombshell. "You're about to become the new city lord." Ryan just froze, his brain completely short-circuiting. Then he saw the entire crowd suddenly drop to their knees. That was enough to make his brain reboot for a second time. Hold on, everyone. A group of eloquent speakers began a passionate plea. Their words flowed with so much emotion it was almost impossible to argue. Lord Bai, from this day forward, the city of Linfeng is yours. We swear our loyalty to you for saving us all. Please accept our request, or we will not get up. After hearing them out, he silently reached for the mask lying on his bed. It couldn't completely hide the horrific burns on his face, but it gave Ryan the strength to speak clearly. Sorry, I can't accept. The crowd was so shocked, they all shouted in unison. But why? His ice-cold gaze swept across the entire room. Because, he leaned forward, planting his hands on his thighs. I didn't save you people out of some noble duty. I did it because I times felt like it. Asterisk. Understand? Still pissed about his rude awakening, he furiously kicked a table out of his way. Get the hell out. A young man, still reeling, stammered back. Lord Bai, you. But Ryan cut him off without a second thought. I am not your savior. If you're looking for one, go find some other idiot to worship. Terrified, the spineless crowd collapsed to the ground again, their voices trembling. Lord Bai, Lord Bai. A sudden flash of memories. His eyes turned to ice, and the air grew heavy with an unspoken dread. I will never, ever trust anyone again. He walked out, his back a portrait of utter solitude. Never again. Ryan walked slowly out of Linfeng, ignoring the rain and the mud at his feet. He just stared back at the city gates, lost in thought. Xia Ji, floating beside him, chuckled. You're really just gonna leave like that? You know, a lot of people in Linfeng really wanted you to stay. Snapping out of it, Ryan buried his emotions deep and replied, Want me to stay? No. They just want a powerful shield to hide behind. Seeing him press on, she prodded him playfully. You know, you've been here for almost a year now. You must have gotten a little attached, right? He didn't even flinch, his voice cutting like glass. Attached? What the hell do I need attachments for? Cut the crap, let's move. But suddenly, a shout pierced through the pouring rain. It was Anne. Her voice rang out clear. Lord Bai, wait up, wait for me. He saw her tiny figure scrambling to catch up. Ryan's voice softened instinctively. It's you, kid? But she was too young to notice the deep sadness in his eyes. But he still cheerfully moved forward to greet her warmly. I heard Lord Bach was leaving, so I made some snacks for you. I hope you like them. Inside the basket were several fragrant baked pastries. The scent hit him so hard he couldn't pull away. His cold expression, unchanged since morning, wavered slightly. He bowed his head, his voice calm as he responded to the girl's polite and gentle demeanor. Thanks, I like this pastry. Anne's sparkling eyes truly melted Anne's heart. Thank you, Lord Bach, the great hero who saved our people. Though I'm useless, I will pray to the gods to grant you a safe journey. Hearing those words, he fell into deep thought and unconsciously mumbled, Since when, gods? Anne suddenly let out a long sigh and gently patted the little girl's head. All right, thanks. I hope the gods grant me some luck too. Fearing time would pass meaninglessly, he quickly said his goodbyes to Anne. Okay, thank you for your kindness, kid, but I have to go now. Though reluctant, the little girl saw him off like an old, dear friend. Yes, have a safe journey. I will always remember you. The bond between him and this city was now severed. The hero's journey continued on toward the unknown. Looking at the soft pastry in his hand, Anne felt his heart warm on this cold, drizzly day. At least I got a small pastry out of this place. Before long, night had cast its dark veil over every branch. On the outskirts of Blue Ice City, Anne sat silently on a tree branch, watching the city gates intently. He exhaled a puff of white smoke through his mask, not forgetting to complain in a low voice, Damn, it's cold. This is Blue Ice City, all right. The temperature really is low. Down below, Lanhee was in the same boat. Trying to start a fire is so hard. It's so damn cold, it's tough to even get a spark. He decisively jumped down, and the sound startled her into looking over. Anne swung his arm, using his Knight's Force skill. Blue karma flames shot straight into the pile of firewood in front of her. Lanhee's eyes sparkled with admiration. You're amazing, Bach. It took me forever just to get a flame going. But you just snapped your fingers and it was done. Having helped her, he took the opportunity to question her. Spill it. Isn't it about time you told me why you've been following me around? She answered excitedly, like a fan meeting her idol. I already told you. I'm following you because I want to do exciting things with you. You're my idol, Bach. You're the most handsome guy ever. Of course, Anne wasn't that easily fooled. Don't try to change the subject with that crap. I'm curious. You're not telling the truth, at least, not the whole truth. Unfazed, she quickly played along. So, what do you want to hear, Bach? I'll tell you everything. But he suddenly made an unconventional request. Give me the seasoning. Without delay, Lani placed a large packet in his hand. Here you go. Here you go, Bach. He sprinkled it evenly over a pork leg, reminding her in a steady voice. Fine. If you don't want to talk right now, that's okay. Sooner or later, you'll have to come clean with me anyway. This understanding completely won her over, and she beamed. You're the best, Bach. So handsome and considerate, too. Lian looked up, his gaze landing on a treetop not far away with some curiosity. But that Sai Su girl, what the hell is she looking at? Looking closely, a magic circle was materializing behind her, and the very air around her grew heavy. Sai Su placed both hands on a blazing red orb of energy, muttering an incantation. "O fate, I beseech you, illuminate the path that lies ahead, so that we may avoid the calamity that awaits in the distance." Then, she suddenly snapped her eyes open, her sharp gaze piercing forward. The space around her abruptly changed, and she gently set foot upon the Milky Way. A whisper echoed in her ear. "Save me. I'm so cold. So cold." Sai Su frantically looked around. She began to wonder, who is that? Who's calling for help? A moment later, the answer was within her sights. She stared in shock, focusing on one suspicious point. The god of fate reached a colossal hand towards her and delivered a warning. "You foolish mortals dare to dream of controlling destiny?" As the blue pupils saw what was approaching, Sai Su's heart pounded with anxiety. What is that? She suddenly let out a blood-curdling scream and went into freefall from the treetop. The incident startled Lian. Without a moment's hesitation, he shot forward, calling her name, Sai Su. Lani, still clueless, jumped to her feet. She yelled out, "Wait, what's going on?" He successfully caught the sorceress in his arms. Her face was still etched with shock. Lian landed on a sturdy branch and urgently asked, "What's wrong? Did something happen to you?" Sai Su gave a weak smile, voicing her own theory. "It seems I've been overusing the Wheel of Fate recently. The slumbering god of fate seems ready to unleash its backlash on me." He looked her straight in the eye, emphasizing every single word. "Listen to me. I don't need you to prophesize my fate. I don't give a damn what destiny is waiting for me. I'm going to shatter that pathetic fate to pieces. I swear it." Her voice laced with a hint of helplessness. "You always have to act so tough." Early the next morning, the dark clouds hanging over the city hadn't dispersed, plunging everything into a gloomy shadow. Roa stretched with a satisfied sigh. "Slept like a rock last night." Lian appeared beside her out of nowhere, handing her a steamed bun. "Morning. Eat up, kiddo." She immediately stuffed it into her mouth, mumbling as she chewed. "Thanks, Lian." He got straight to business. "Hey kid, today we're heading into Blue Ice City. Want to try a special way of getting in?" Her excitement flared instantly, and she blurted out, "Don't tell me. We're playing another super intense game today?" He didn't hesitate to share the plan. "Of course. This time, we're going to turn Blue Ice City completely upside down." Roa eagerly jumped in, not wanting to miss out. "Haha, I'm in." As they neared Blue Ice City, they overheard an apologetic voice. "Commander Brighton, my deepest apologies. We've searched nearly every suspicious location, but there's still no trace of Nicole." He shot her down instantly. "No, Alina is lying. This city isn't that big. If you actually put in the effort, you'd find her." She dropped to one knee, trying to defend herself. "Commander Brighton, forgive my bluntness, but I'm truly out of options. My squad knows how terrifying Miss Nicole is, so hardly anyone is willing to search. I can't possibly check everywhere by myself." The more he listened, the more pissed he got, and he immediately issued a kill order. "Enough. I've had it with these excuses. If anyone dares to disobey an order, execute them. What's the point of having knights with no courage?" Just as he finished his sentence, the city gate exploded with a deafening blast, grabbing the attention of everyone nearby. Brighton stared at the sudden incident, lost in thought. Alina felt the same, her suspicion growing, and then Lian burst from the cloud of dust and smoke with a rowdy greeting. "Elders, countrymen, your daddy's here." Roa didn't hesitate to play along. "Oh, you poor, pitiful subjects. Why haven't you come to greet your father?" Once he was close enough, he hurled the stink bomb in his hand. "Here, receive my blessing." The surrounding crowd gagged and their eyes watered from the biological attack. "What the hell is this?" He spread his arms wide, showing off his Wind's Fury skill while kindly explaining to his customers, "Everyone, don't panic. This stink bomb was meticulously crafted by yours truly. The smell might be a little rough, but the effects are absolutely incredible. It's guaranteed to give the ladies beautiful skin and the gentlemen boundless vigor. It's the #1 health and wellness product of our time." Roa beamed, singing along with him. That's right. My stink bomb is super nutritious. The crowd wasn't sure about the effects, but the immediate consequences were disgusting. What is that smell? Holy shit, it stinks. This is no different from actual crap. Who the hell dares to throw crap in broad daylight? So shameless. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. Watching from a distance, Brighton voiced his confusion. Who are these people? How dare they cause trouble in Blue Ice City? Alina spoke up to reassure him. Lord Brighton, please rest assured. I will take responsibility for driving them away. She unsheathed her sword, her eyes burning with fighting spirit. I am a knight of Blue Ice City. I will not allow anyone to violate the sanctity of this city. He relented, but warned her in a low voice. Fine, I'll give you one chance to atone. Slaughter them. And I won't hold your negligence in finding nickel against you. Their movements didn't escape Lyon's hawk-like gaze. Watching Alina charge forward, he commented with satisfaction. Looks like the first fish of the day has taken the bait. Fueled by her desire to redeem herself, Alina lunged with her sword. I don't care who you are. I absolutely will not allow anyone to cause trouble in Blue Ice City. Lyon calmly shot back a question. Is that so? Then I guess I'll have to see what you're made of. The instant she closed in, he dropped his center of gravity, dodging her strike while snatching the coin purse from her hip. Seeing him retreat without a single counterattack, she roared in frustration. You! But when she felt the sudden lightness on her belt, she froze. Wait a minute. Alina frantically patted herself down and then let out a panicked scream. My money! He casually tossed a coin in the air while taunting her. Tsk, 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 tsk. Is one silver coin all you've got? You're a city knight. How can you be this broke? She finally snapped, pointing her sword at him. You bastard! How dare you steal my money? That's my entire salary for this month. Hearing that just made Lyon laugh even harder. A whole month's salary? He tossed the coin back to its owner with a look of mock generosity. How pathetic. Just a single silver coin. Here, take it back. Don't think for a second I'd bother stealing something so worthless. Alina stared blankly as her monthly salary clinked on the ground. Meanwhile, Lyon had already shifted his focus. You may be a small fry, but that buckethead over there looks like a much bigger fish. Big talk. Brighton's gut immediately screamed danger. This guy. But before he could even prepare, Lyon shot forward. Hey buddy, looks like you've got more cash than you need. Mind spotting me? Brighton instinctively took a defensive stance, then roared in fury. You bastard, you dare to target me? Without hesitation, Brighton used his signature move, Knight's Might, Iron Pagoda. Lyon cleverly glanced up to size up his opponent, and though his brow furrowed, he gave a sincere compliment. Not half bad. Just as he finished speaking, the Iron Pagoda's sword came crashing down from the sky. Lyon leaped back, narrowly cheating death while still running his mouth. Too slow. Brighton was stunned by this agility, blurting out involuntarily, "What?" The answer Brighton got was a devastating counterswing from Lyon, creating a world-shaking explosion right at the city gate. He struggled, leaning against a cracked wall, his heart hammering in his chest. Damn it, this guy's no pushover. I need to call for backup. The moment Brighton stepped forward, Lyon picked up where he left off. So, Mr. Iron Mask, is it time for you to lend me some cash now? No money appeared, but a rope sure did. He looked down at the new toy wrapped tightly around his leg and let out a curious hum. Alina used all her strength to pull the other end of the rope, cursing, "You son of a bitch." Burning with righteous fury, she was determined to eliminate this troublemaker. I don't care who you are. You're not allowed to cause chaos in Blue Ice City. Lyon steadied himself, not hesitating to offer some praise. Not bad. The people in this city seem more interesting than the ones in Forest Wind City. She struggled to restrain him and shouted, "A warning. I've heard about you. Bye. You can mess around in Forest Wind City all you want. I don't care. But if you dare stir up trouble in Blue Ice City, I'll personally throw you in jail." Seeing that she didn't seem truly malicious, he decided to try negotiating. Come on, little lady, don't be so angry. I'm just playing around, having a little fun, you know? Watching them go back and forth, Brighton had a sinister idea. Damn it, this is my chance. He raised his hand and fired a shot into the air. A firework bloomed in the sky, signaling for reinforcements. Lyon, of course, understood its meaning and casually called him out. Looks like you guys are calling for backup, huh? Elsewhere, a group of soldiers was chasing down Luo Air. You damn brat. How dare you throw crap at us? I'm gonna skin you alive. Even while running for her life, she still found time to tease them. Stop chasing me, guys. If you're so tough, go after. Bye. He's way hotter than I am. After dissing them, she gifted them another vial of stench. I told you, This isn't crap. It's a rare health elixir. If you don't believe me, just take another whiff." The soldiers instinctively stopped in their tracks and screamed in unison. "You bastard! You have more?" The moment the biological weapon hit the ground, the air filled with screams again. "Holy shit! Damn it! It stinks! I'm gonna puke." After spreading her chaos, Luo Air cheerfully waved goodbye. "Don't worry, guys. This stink bottle is totally harmless. Just take your time and enjoy it. Bye-bye." Brighton's other soldiers were alerted by the flare and started scrambling. "Wait, that's Lord Brighton's signal flare. What's going on? Is Lord Brighton calling for backup? Let's get a move on. If we're late, Lord Brighton will be furious." They came running from all directions, all shouting the same thing. Reinforcements for Lord Brighton. Sensing danger, Lian decisively cut the rope binding him. He tossed out a careless remark and leaped onto a roof. "That's enough for today. I've had my fun. Time to go." Elena, having been toyed with this whole time, exploded with rage, craning her neck to shout curses after him. "You bastard! You think you can just start a fight and leave whenever you want? What do you take our Blue Ice City for?" Standing firmly on the roof tiles, he spread his arms and declared his personal philosophy. "It's just an interesting playground. Life is short. If you don't enjoy it to the fullest, how can you live these few short decades to their worth?" She ignored his nonsense. Reaching behind her back, Elena powerfully hurled a sharp sword straight at him. "You're not getting out of here unscathed." Lian casually leaned to his right, letting it fly past harmlessly. He waved to her, then jumped off the other side of the building. "See ya." The moment he landed, he swept his companion into his arms. "Little Luo Air, it's time for us to go," she asked, confused. "Just like that? I thought you were going to teach that ugly chick a lesson." Elena caught up just in time to hear herself being insulted. Her previous anger boiled over, and she let loose. "What? How did I become the ugly chick? Do you have any idea how many guys are chasing after me?" Lian had lost his patience and issued a challenge. "All right, Masters of Blue Ice City, let's just call today our first meeting. I'll be staying in your Blue Ice City for a while. I'm sure we'll be seeing each other again very soon." That was all Erji needed to hear, cheering with excitement. "Awesome, we're finally going to see each other again." The second she said that, he took off, leaping across the rooftops, his intention to make a getaway crystal clear. Elena choked on her anger, waiting until they were out of sight before spitting out a sentence. "You bastards, don't even think you can escape." Her answer came in the form of a stink bomb dropping from the sky. Her eyes shot wide open. Staring at this unwanted gift, she was screaming internally. "Oh, I am so screwed." As Elena was engulfed by the foul stench, her rage exploded into a furious threat.